Warning, the following podcast contains adult language, themes, and situations. Also, the film we're about to talk about is going to be spoiled thoroughly. Listener discretion is advised. Enjoy this show.
Sandwiched between Rush Hour 1 and 2, a pre-accusations Brett Ratner tapped everyone's favorite man to star in a heartfelt, loose adaptation of It's a Wonderful Life that has largely been forgotten despite pulling in $125 million at the box office. We watched as he got burned up in The Wicker Man, then saw him get pelted by fast food in The Weatherman. But before either of those roles, Nicolas Cage starred as the Family Man.
Okay, let's run.
I'm like a prickly pear.
What do you say we cut the chit-chat? A-hole! Porker! How'd it get burned? How'd it get burned? How'd it get burned? Hey, have you ever been dragged to the sidewalk and beat until you pissed blood?
Welcome to One Cage at a Time, the show where we break down every single Nicolas Cage movie, one film at a time. Here are your hosts, Patrick, Vince, and Nigel.
Bachelor Jack Campbell lives a lavish, fast-paced life as a Wall Street executive. But after a chance encounter on Christmas Eve, he's given a glimpse of what life could have been like had he settled down with his college girlfriend and lived the life of a family man.
Ladies and gentlemen, here are your stars.
The Family Man stars Academy Award-nominated actor and war machine himself, Don Cheadle, Nick's best bud in the film, who is constantly telling him to hug it out, bitch, Jeremy Piven, Madam Secretary herself and winner of a Saturn Award for this role, Tea Leoni, the always-a-treat character actor Saul Rubinek, and the Family Man himself, Academy Award-winning actor and best damn tire salesman in New Jersey, Nicolas Kim Coppola, better known as Nicolas Cage. Yay!
Patrick, hit us with some stats, won't you?
The Family Man was released on December 22nd, 2000, just in time for the holiday season, as you would expect. Kind of surprising that it would be released so close to Christmas. But, you know, I guess they would want to cash in on the holiday weekend, you know, people going out for Christmas.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
It's a big weekend for theaters.
Yeah, it is.
They release like the Harry Potter films around that time, right? Like holidays.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always some blockbuster that comes out.
Yeah, like Lord of the Rings, that whole trilogy was released. That was my buddy has a December birthday, and that was our ongoing tradition for 3 years. There was every year we'd go see the Lord of the Rings, and then it turned into Harry Potter after that. It was funny.
Yeah,
budget of $60 million, which is a lot for this kind of movie. And I don't know, Christmassy family rom-com type of movie, $60 million, but it is, you know, put out right around Christmas, and it was Brett Ratner coming off of Rush Hour. Though Brett Ratner had to fight tooth and nail to get this movie. He really chased after this movie. He had no interest in it when it was given to him on the set of Rush Hour, and then he actually read it and he was like, "Oh my God, this is amazing! I really want to do this." And then he had to like fly out and like find the producers, and you know he's really good at like chasing down people.
Oh God, waiting for that. God damn it!
But that seriously, he flew out and like was like, "I am the man for this," and they were like, "No, you're not. You just made Rush Hour, and you're like 25 years old," because he was really young at the time, and they didn't want him to direct. But he eventually convinced them. Do you understand the
words that come out of my mouth? I'm made for this movie.
He's really good at convincing people after wearing them down for a while. So
50 no's and a yes is still a yes. Allegedly.
Made $124.7 million. So it more than doubled the budget. As we've said, Hollywood math, kind of have to triple the budget in order to really turn a profit. But in terms of, I feel like early 2000s, doubling the budget was kind of the threshold at that time.
Yeah.
But as I said, directed by Brett Ratner, who is mostly known for the Rush Hour trilogy, and apparently they're going to make another Rush Hour movie soon. Because we're all asking for one. You know?
I thought they scrapped that a few years ago.
Well, yeah, I guess, yeah, maybe they scrapped it after what happened with Brett Ratner. But
and then they kind of have a bad history of putting people either into the directing chair or in the film that Hollywood doesn't want anything to do with anymore. So maybe they will. I don't know. Maybe who's the new person that
make a Mel Gibson comeback pretty soon. He also directed Red Dragon. I guess what's that part? It's like 2 of the Hannibal series.
Supposed to be the prequel.
Is it the prequel?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so it's before Silence of the Lambs, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like young Hannibal.
I think his most recent movie was that movie with Eddie Murphy and Ben Stiller, Tower Heist. I think Matthew Broderick was also in
that movie came out years ago.
Yeah, I think that was the last time.
Yeah, but I mean, Brett Ratner.
Brett Ratner.
Yeah.
He is. I'm just gonna say it. He's a horrible, horrible human being. Despite how family oriented and lovely this film is, his first like real allegation was he was fired from the Academy Awards in 2011 for saying rehearsal is for you can fill in the rest.
Philanthropist.
For philanthropists.
Wow.
That's what he said. And I forget who was hosting. I think it was Eddie Murphy. And they quit at the same time. Like the entire crew quit after he said that to them. You can fill in the blanks of what he said.
What you're applying.
He had a talent agent accuse him of rape. Then he had 6 sexual assault allegations, including from Olivia Munn and Natasha Henstridge from Species. And he also outed Ellen, now Elliot Page, in front of a bunch of onlookers, including Anna Paquin, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's a laundry list of terrible things.
Like he's a piece of shit.
So thankfully, Brett Ratner is not really working these days. I haven't seen anything new. Even like rumored to be coming out from him in a long time. So maybe there's some justice. I don't know. It was written by David Diamond and David Weissman, who have worked together a lot. They worked on Evolution, that David Duchovny movie. Old Dogs, what was that? Robin Williams? Who was in that movie? Was it Travolta? I feel like it was one of those movies that like everybody talked about, and I had to watch it because everybody was talking about it.
I was confusing it with Wild Hogs.
I was going to say, like, they came out around the same time,
that's right?
Those two
That's
films.
right.
And they're essentially the same movie.
And then I think their best known movie is When in Rome, which was pretty popular.
Shit.
We also talked about that on another episode. I forget which, but it was shot by Dante Spinotti, who has 2 Oscar nominations for L.A. Confidential and The Insider, and won a BAFTA for Last of the Mohicans. Bafflingly, though, he got no nominations for Heat. He shot Heat, which is unbelievably well shot. I think that's one of the most beautifully shot action movies I've ever seen. And no nominations for that. But
that's crazy, because just that firefight in the street.
Yeah.
That is like one of the best shot action sequences I've ever seen in my life.
It's still like studied. I mean, that is the go-to.
Pinnacle.
Yeah. But no, fickle bunch over there at the award shows. Also shot Beaches, that Gary Marshall movie. And he's worked with Michael Mann a bunch. So he did Heat and Public Enemies, a few others. And then recently shot the Ant-Man and the Wasp. I don't know if he's filming the sequel, the third movie, or
Quantumania.
Quantumania, yeah. I don't think he is, but it's an interesting grouping of films there. Heat, Last of the Mohicans, Public Enemies, which was really kind of jarring. I don't know if you saw that one because it was shot in such a high frame rate. It just looked off.
Was that the one with Johnny Depp?
Yeah, where he plays Dillinger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, wasn't a great movie.
No.
In a lot of different ways. It was one of Michael Mann's like few kind of stumbles. It was like one of the only movies I didn't really like from Michael Mann. Edited by Mark Helfrich, who also edited Rambo: First Blood Part 2,
Nice.
which has also come up a few times on this. Also edited the original Predator film, The Last Boy Scout, which I don't know if you've seen that, the Bruce Willis, Damon Wayans movie, which is kind of a forgotten action movie that was really great, I thought, back in the day.
Yeah.
Kind of a pre-Michael Bay style movie. Also edited Showgirls. And of course, the entire Rush Hour trilogy for Brett Ratner. And Season of the Witch. Nick Cage.
Oh, cool. So we'll see him again.
We will see him again. And more recently, he did the two Jumanji movies. Was it Jumanji in the Jungle?
Welcome to the Jungle.
Welcome to the Jungle. What was the second one? Back into the Jungle?
Jungle Cruise.
Jungle Cruise. Okay.
I don't remember the second one.
I don't remember the second one either.
Maybe it was just Jumanji and then Welcome to the Jungle. No, that's not right.
No, it was
They
like
both had subtitles.
Jumanji, the next level.
Next level or something.
Next level, I think.
Yeah, okay.
Because it's based on a video game this time around.
Yeah. I cannot wear this anymore. It is 1,000
Take
degrees.
it off, baby. Take
Sorry
it
to ruin the
off.
illusion,
Yeah.
but it is August while we're recording
me
this.
so hot.
Nigel's got a freaking sunburn.
Yeah. It makes me look
100
like
degrees
Jolly
in my
Red Santa.
apartment. Yeah, you do.
I just want you to know, Patrick, I could eat a peach for hours.
It's because his face is pink. You're going to eat his peach?
I don't get the reference. I mean, I get the reference. I don't get the joke, though.
Oh, because he's getting naked.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Edit that out. Cut that.
And then, of course, the music was done by legendary Oingo Boingo singer / songwriter, 4-time Oscar nominee, and Tim Burton's go-to composer, the legendary Danny Elfman. Has done damn near every Tim Burton film, going back to his debut with Pee-wee's Big Adventure, which I think was the first film that he ever scored. He was pretty unknown. I mean, it was in Oingo Boingo.
Yeah.
It was like,
But even they were kind of like a...
they were kind of a
underground band.
one-hit wonder, right?
Yeah. They weren't really well known.
Yeah. And then he did, of course, Batman 1 and 2. He dropped out after Schumacher took over. Did Edward Scissorhands, The Nightmare Before Christmas, which Danny Elfman did like the score, and Tim Burton, I believe, did the lyrics for it.
And he played Jack Skellington.
Yeah, he voiced Jack Skellington.
And then outside of Tim Burton, he also did the music for Midnight Run, which is one of my favorites. The guy, same writer as the guy who directed Trapped in Paradise. And never
right.
directed
I forgot
again.
about
Yeah, I remember we mentioned that.
Scrooged, that amazing Bill Murray Christmas
Yeah.
movie. Oh, that movie's so amazing. The first Mission Impossible, the Men in Black trilogy, every single one of them. Good Will Hunting. It's a crazy range on all of his. The Raimi Spider-Man, the first two, which are obviously, or in my opinion, the really great ones. The third one kind of dropped the ball a little bit, dropped the sand all over the place. And then more recently, he did Age of Ultron, and then he did the Multiverse of Madness, and did the Justice League movie as well. On the rating side of things, Rotten Tomatoes gave this a 53%.
Ouch.
Wow.
Which is harsh, I feel like. But we'll get into it when we start talking about it and we get to our ratings, but I don't feel like we felt quite as low on
that's
it.
surprising.
Yeah. 5.5 out of 10 and 130 reviews. So, I mean, 130 reviews is not a small sample size, so
Oh.
apparently we're missing something. Audience score, though, 67%, which I feel is a little closer. Metacritic was 42%. As we said, Metacritic was just all over the map as far as how they rate scores based on how famous somebody is and all that junk. It's kind of hard to even figure out. IMDb 6.8 out of 10, so very similar to the audience score. And then the cinema score was a B+, which is also not great. Maybe it's because it is a really long movie. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
for being a Christmas movie, this movie is 125 minutes long. It is the third longest film that we've done so far out of our 30 films that we've done on this show.
That's doesn't feel like it. But.
Yeah.
It flows well, I think, but you
It
could have
dragged at
trimmed
some
maybe
points for me, but
Yeah.
overall did not feel as long as like Prisoners of the Ghostland.
Yeah. Prisoners of Ghostland was
It's like 90
mercifully like 90 something.
minutes, but it felt like 7 days. I felt
did.
like I was watching The Ring.
I feel like I'm still living Prisoners of the Ghostland.
Did you know that movie was going to keep coming up? Did you?
Do you?
How about a Coppola quick facts?
Busted out the Mary Cage miss.
I love that shit.
It's great.
A couple of quick facts here. Brett Ratner, as I said, was originally not interested in directing this film at all, but after he read the script, he immediately pursued it, saying, "It reminds me of the classic films I grew up watching, except it didn't end the way most movies end, and that was exciting. I felt this one in my gut. I always follow my instincts, and I realized this was something that I really had to do."
Doesn't age well.
Sometimes maybe, Brett, you shouldn't follow your instincts so closely.
Allegedly.
Alleged. No, it's not alleged.
To protect ourselves. Allegedly.
Technically, I think it is still alleged.
I don't think any
because I don't
charges
think
were
he's
ever brought
been.
against him.
Yeah, he's Brian Singering it right now. But
Jesus. Let's stay way away from that one.
Yeah.
hey, they
That
kept
is-
letting him direct even after everything came out.
Well, he's good at making
Yeah.
2 really good X-Men movies and then shooting the third one, but
Who was also worked on by Brett Ratner, or which was also worked on by Brett Ratner.
Yeah, Ratner, yeah.
Yeah,
Produced Last Stand, I think.
Yeah.
yeah, Ratner too. Yeah. Oh my God. What a misstep that movie
Birds
was.
of a feather.
God damn it, I was about to say that. What they say.
Like Brett Ratner, in all the good ways. I don't know. We'll just distance Nick Cage from Ratner. We'll just say Nicolas Cage originally wasn't interested in doing a lighthearted romantic comedy, as he had just finished doing 8mm and Bringing Out the Dead.
Oh, dang, that's crazy.
Wow.
Very dark movies. He was in the process of filming Gone in 60 Seconds when they approached him for this. But he went and saw Rush Hour with his dad, August Coppola, and he ended up accepting the part of Jack Campbell, as he was inspired to do so after seeing Ratner's enthusiasm for the project. And I guess because he liked Rush Hour?
Yeah, that's
He's like, is that Jackie Chan fella going to be in this movie?
yeah.
That
He's
scrappy
funny.
kid who made that movie. I want to work with him on a movie that seems way out of his element. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was August Coppola who convinced him. Like,
Yeah, you said it in a Peter Lowe voice. Do the movie, Nick. Can't believe that.
yeah,
That's who he impersonated to play Peter Lowe. Like,
yep.
Jesus.
Yeah, because his dad was he was a professor, and he had that like kind of pseudo intellectual thing going on. Yeah. This one's hilarious. Of course, we've run into this like 4 different times now. But at one point, John Travolta was the the person they wanted to star in this role. I could see Travolta in this.
Yeah.
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 It kind of fits his
It does. Yeah.
film more, like
Yeah,
his
I can see that.
films more.
Yeah.
Filmography
I
more.
almost wonder. I don't know. I think Travolta would have been good in this. Yeah. Would have been a different feeling. I don't know if he would have brought the. I don't know. There's kind of more of a gravitas to Nick Cage's performance and less goofiness, because you actually feel genuine, like he really is that person. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like Travolta would just be kind of slapsticky.
What are you talking about, dude?
It's so weird.
a ghost.
Where's my New York apartment? Oh my God. I got a baby.
Jeez, the dog is slobbering all over my face.
He's like,
my
wait,
God.
so I'm not the talking baby in this one? I don't understand films anymore.
Jax's glimpse. We could talk about this in the show, but his glimpse lasts approximately 8 weeks because when he first goes into it is Christmas, and then the last day is Valentine's Day, or shortly after Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
Something like that.
So this shirt kind of works.
There you go.
This fucking guy.
It's not really like a Christmas movie,
No.
but
It like opens on
Kind of,
Christmas.
though.
it opens on
like-
Christmas, it ends
Yeah.
on Christmas, and then the snow theme throughout
Yeah.
sort of lends itself to that.
It's like a mix of It's a Wonderful Life and the Scrooge story or Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of like Scrooge elements I felt like that they sort of set up, but at the same time they didn't really.
Never.
And I didn't
Yeah.
get the
Yeah.
"It's a Wonderful Life"
I
feeling
didn't
to
either.
it.
Unless
I
like
didn't
he
either.
was gonna kill himself and we just never understood that. Like the whole like he was gonna off himself on Christmas Day. That didn't come through to me. Just have War Machine kill you then. He had the perfect opportunity.
That's true. That's true. Do you want to die?
What, you don't got a lucky crack map?
And then so final quick fact here is at the beginning of the movie, Jack sings La Donna e Mobile. I don't know how you say that. From Giuseppe Verdi opera. I did not take Italian in high school or college.
No,
Sound like Vince trying to read English.
Yeah. It's not so easy, is it?
Baldessari.
17?
So, how do you say this word?
17s.
17?
Rigoletto is the name of the opera. In the opera, the song is sung by a womanizing duke who describes women as flighty and untrustworthy, when in actuality, the duke is the flighty and untrustworthy one. This is similar to how Jack is at the start of the film, a wealthy, irresponsible philanderer who is blind to his own flaws. The song has become sort of a cameo song in Nicolas Cage movies, such as in Captain Corelli's Mandolin, Honeymoon in Vegas, and in Guarding Tess. So it's funny that that's 4 different times that they've used that same song that he sings at the very beginning. For
He
Nick Cage
just
movies.
sang it like a Vampire's Kiss.
Yeah.
In the script. It seemed very cagey.
It's time for the main event. Here comes the breakdown. Act 1, the setup.
Our story begins in 1987 at an airport where we see a young Nicolas Cage, a.k.a. Jack Campbell, making out with Tea Leoni or Kate Reynolds. And the two of them are clearly madly in love. By the way, we've seen Nick Cage in 1987 in Moonstruck and Raising Arizona. No. Yeah. This is not the way he looked at all. She tells him she has a really bad feeling about Jack leaving for an internship in London and tries desperately to get him not to leave. She says she's afraid if he gets on the plane, it'll mean the end of their relationship. Jack assures her by saying they both have an incredible opportunity to have amazing lives since she just got into law school and he's been accepted to an internship at Barclays Bank in London to become a stockbroker. So it's kind of echoes what happens at the end of the movie. Sorry. It echoes what happens at the end of the movie where he's like, I know we could move on with our lives and we both be fine, but I've seen what we can be together. She tells him if they really want to do something great together, they should flush their plans and start their lives right then and there because she chooses us. I don't remember exactly what she says, but I choose us is what she says. I think she says it multiple times, and then he says it later on. No matter what the consequences are, she chooses us. Next, we see them living in a single-wide trailer somewhere in the Arizona desert where Jack has started robbing convenience stores after giving up on his dreams. Oh, wait, no, that's something else. Jack mulls over the idea of bailing on his internship and instead choosing love, but he breaks her heart by saying 1 year in London won't change a thing between them and leaves her crying in the terminal. We cut to 13 years later, where Jack is in bed and we hear a voice saying, "Last night was incredible." And Jack gives her the same, huh? Lip bite that he gave Elijah Wood when he found a Polaroid of his junk in the trust. It's like the exact same look. We see a sexy blonde getting dressed in his room, and Jack says he wants to see her again, but it's Christmas Eve, so she has to spend it with her parents in Jersey. Cock blocked by Jesus' birthday again. She leaves and Jack hops up to get dressed while singing opera, as we mentioned in the quick facts. I'm not going to attempt to say what's the name of the opera. I'm guessing they cleared the rights ahead of time to avoid having to sink a third of the film's budget into securing a song Nick Cage accidentally sang too well, like he did in Vampire's Kiss.
Maybe that's why this film was 60 mil.
that could be. It was supposed to be 40. We see how extravagant Jack's new life in New York has become since he left Kate behind, while he walks around an American Psycho-esque penthouse overlooking the city, while Nick shows off the goods in a pair of brief while getting dressed for work, dancing around in a very cagey manner and singing his heart out.
80%. No!
This is crazy dancing. He continues singing in the elevator where he flirts with an old lady who says Jack couldn't possibly satisfy her carnal desires and goes on to describe some nasty stuff her husband did to her the night before. I mean, really raunchy stuff. I'm surprised that this movie got a PG-13 rating because it was graphic.
Yeah.
Downstairs, he gives the doorman some stock advice, and he genuinely seems to be loved by everyone. Even the people he kind of rubs the wrong way seem to really like him. This is very unlike these types of movies usually, where like this sort of Scroogey character is kind of a scumbag in all facets, not just he's like a womanizer and like he just likes the bachelor life and he likes his extravagance and stuff.
Yeah.
But he seems like a good dude that people like. Though he does make his employees work on Christmas. So there's that.
Yeah.
But they are doing a $120 billion merger. So
yeah.
Yeah.
At the office, we see that Jack and his team are in the process of closing a huge deal, but one of his brokers, Alan, is distracted by a snowman he made out of mashed potatoes or something. That's Alan Rubinek, I think is his name. Guy's in every movie. I swear. He's like one of those glue guys.
He's just one of those guys.
Yeah. Reminds me of Steven Tobolowsky, that guy who's in like every other movie. And I'm sure that they've had some crossover. It's weird, like these character actors, if you like were to put them in some sort of like MCU type of thing where it's like all their movies actually connect somehow.
That'd be hilarious.
Jack tells Alan that he currently has tunnel vision during this holiday season because in 2 days they're going to announce one of the largest mergers in U.S. corporate history. So he needs everyone in the office to suck it up and pretend Christmas isn't a thing this year. Honestly, I don't feel like this is like a shitty thing to do. Like,
it's not that unreasonable.
This is pretty huge for this company.
I think he even says, like, we do this deal and you can take 6 weeks of vacation on me or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah. He says celebrate Christmas on the 26th when you have like 7 zeros in your bank account or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Which I'd be like, yeah, okay.
It's actually this next part. Alan apologizes and Jack yells at him that he doesn't want him to be sorry. He wants him to be excited since the gift he's giving him this year comes with 10 zeros.
10.
And they get back to work. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And everybody in that room stands to gain from just kind of ignoring Christmas until the 26th.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I'm a cold-hearted bastard, but
I mean, we all worked retail and we had to ignore Christmas for a lot
Exactly.
less.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
I've worked Christmas
for like
many a time.
$9 an hour. Jack's secretary or assistant tells him he's her role model in a snarky way after he says he's more Christmassy than everyone since he's giving his all to this deal. And she gives him a message that Kate, his college sweetheart, reached out to talk to him. His assistant is stunned when Jack says he almost married her since he's been single-handedly giving herpes to the entire eastern seaboard since they broke up. She tries to call her for him, but he hangs up the phone since he doesn't want to be distracted because she's probably just trying to hook up with the one that got away, and he doesn't want to mislead her. Well, thank God he didn't call her then, right? Our whole story wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Jack's boss, Peter Lassiter, enters the room and remarks about how Jack is still hard at work on Christmas Eve. And when Jack says, "I don't see you rushing home to trim the tree," Peter explains that he's a heartless bastard who only cares about money. And Jack says, "You know what? God love you for that."
I debated counting that as a curse, but I did.
God love you for that?
Yeah. He says God so many times in the movie that I just lumped it in. I threw it in there. But that was the one that I really wrote on its own line. Like, I don't know if I jumped it as a curse or not. But after he says it so many other times, I'm like, all right.
Yeah, technically it's not.
Toss it in there.
Because he's saying that God loves him.
Yeah. All right. I won't count it then.
Peter tells Jack one of the key members of this merger that they're trying to do is nervous. So Jack volunteers to fly to Aspen on Christmas to reassure this guy. Which he's stoked to do now, but later on says it's the most depressing thing he'll ever do in his life or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Jack asks Peter what he would do if an old girlfriend called him on Christmas Eve, and Peter tells him to leave it in the past since old flames are like old tax returns. Put them in the file cabinet for 3 years and then cut them loose. Seems like a great guy. Jack wads up the note with Kate's info and chucks it in the trash immediately because, I mean, obviously Peter is like his role model. He wants to be just like that guy, which I guess maybe that's the Scrooge-ish part of this is like if Peter would have continued down the path that he was currently on, he would have ended up just like Peter, who doesn't seem like a completely terrible person. He's got a family, and apparently he comes to visit people in New Jersey out of the blue.
Yeah.
He tells his assistant to call an emergency strategy session on Christmas Day, and she condescendingly says, "That'll be a nice holiday treat." Again, it's like $122 billion.
Yeah. Plus, you're going in at noon. Like, you still got to do Christmas morning.
Yeah, you can do Christmas morning.
And then you could be home for time, time to trim the turkey or ham or whatever you eat.
And as soon as he jumps on that plane to Aspen, you just go home.
Yeah.
What's it going to be, an hour? They probably all live in the city anyway. What's that, like three subway stops for some of these people? They're all rich, man. Of course they live nearby.
Yeah.
Jack heads out for the night by saying goodnight to the night security guy. I said night like 14 times in that. Anyway. And I swear, this time it actually literally is the same lobby from American Psycho. Remember that?
Yeah,
like when he
I
walks
thought
into
so
one
too.
and he
Yeah.
shoots
Yeah.
the guy and then
I
he
was
goes
wondering
into the
who it
other one.
was.
It looked exactly the same. Just something I noticed. Jack walks home rather than take his car so he can enjoy the crisp New York winter air and probably have a charming encounter with someone who is mentally unstable. Just what do you do on a nice evening in New York? It would be amazing if they just would, one time when he's in New York in one of these movies, just off in the distance. It would be amazing. On cue, Jack runs into a crazy guy trying to cash in a lotto ticket at a corner store. The guy gets more and more angry since the apathetic guys behind the counter don't seem to want to help him since they assume he's drawn in the lines with a pencil and seem to be, a tad bit on the racist side.
The whole scene is racist.
Yeah, it is.
Why didn't they get a glimpse?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's...
Why didn't he give them some taste of a horrible life?
He actually says that he was going to give the clerk a glimpse of something.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was going to be, but
hey, here's what your life would be like if you weren't a fucking racist. That's probably what it would be.
Eventually, he pulls a gun, and Jack bravely intervenes and offers to buy the ticket from him for $200 so he can take the ticket to a less racist store and keep the extra $38 from the ticket. It's like a good deal. Yeah. I mean, he's lucky any place is even open, you know?
Right.
Don Cheadle's character, Cash, I guess that's his name, agrees to the deal, and it completely diffuses the situation. Cash tells the guy behind the counter he had his chance. So I guess he was going to show this racist dude what life would have been like if he hadn't become a grocery clerk or something.
Yeah. Small business owner.
Small business owner. We don't know if he's the owner because the other guy was there too.
Well, that's his dad.
They were both just kind of screwing off like those two cashiers in Moonstruck, you know?
Yeah.
Or
A wolf.
Oops, shit.
Or a bad lieutenant, you know? The two that are just standing bolt upright.
Standing straight up, right? Pointing to the owner.
Cash calls Jack by his name, first sign that there's something strange about this guy, and says they should get out of there. Outside, Jack asks how he knew his name, and Cash says he calls all you guys Jack. Who's racist now?
Yeah.
Come on.
Come on.
You all look the same to me. Businessman. Jack. They do the deal, and Jack asks him why he wants to carry a gun around for anyway, since he'll just end up doing something he regrets. Cash is surprised Jack wants to help him, and Jack says everybody needs something, to which Cash asks him, yeah, what do you need, Jack? Like, you know, based on that craziness of the previous scene, I don't really blame Jack's whole reaction to everything that's happening here. Jack says he has everything he needs, and after he tries to help him again, Cash says, you know, I'm really going to enjoy this. Cash then guns Jack down in the street since he's clearly mentally ill and can tell Jack has a lot of money on him. He just pulled $200 out of his pocket.
Yeah. I thought it was weird that he started asking him for water before he shot him.
I'm going to kill myself. And then he shakes blood on him. No, wait, he says, you just remember that you did this, Jack. You brought this on yourself. Cash then says, Merry Christmas, you asshole. And heads off into the night. That's the one Spirit of Vengeance reference I'll use again and again. It's the only one, I think. What a weird angel or demon or guy who sneakily is good at giving people LSD or something.
Right. Or whatever the hell this was.
Whatever this was.
Guy who travels the multiverse, sending people into other multiverses of themselves.
Yeah. Or maybe he's like an Agent Smith from The Matrix. He just takes over somebody's body for a minute. I'm guessing he was supposed to be like an angel because this is, you know, pseudo based off of It's a Wonderful Life. I'm guessing that's what it was. Back home, Jack heads to bed, and the next morning he wakes up to find Tea Leoni's head on his crotch. So clearly he died in the night and is now in heaven. I gotta say, Tea Leoni is absolutely gorgeous in this film. Mm-hmm. She kind of steals the show throughout.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think it was no, it wasn't Brett Ratner. It was one of the producers who said that try to watch this movie and not fall in love with Tea Leoni, which, you know, I could say the same thing. Like, try not to fall in love with her over the course of this film.
Yeah. Just like he's shitting on her the whole time, and she's still so positive.
Yeah. I know.
God damn.
Yeah.
Kate wakes up and tells him to go back to bed. Then a little girl clutching a toddler just runs into the room singing Jingle Bells. A dog jumps on the bed, and then Kate says, "Strong coffee," with morning breath right in his face. So Jack is understandably confused, waking up in the suburbs surrounded by poor people in New Jersey. So he freaks out. He jumps out of bed, gets dressed, and bolts the F out of there. And on the way out, he runs into Kate's parents, Lorraine and Big Ed, who are dropping by for the Christmas morning festivities. He asks them where his Ferrari is, and they, of course, have no idea what the hell he's talking about. He takes off to the city in the family minivan, where he pulls up to his building, and, of course, again, no one recognizes him. The doorman he gave stock advice to, the old lady he tried to bang, no one. He has a nice little cagey freak out about them playing a joke on him, and eventually he says he's going to go call the cops because they're scaring him. They offer to take him to a shelter, and he says,
Hey, are you smacked out of your head? I'm the richest man in this building. I've got twice the square footage you have.
"Are you smacked out of your head?" That's amazing. One of the best cagey moments.
Improv.
Yeah, feels like it.
Yeah.
Jack tells them he's going to his office and file a complaint, and then he can't start his shitty minivan. Which, quick fact, according to the DVD commentary, the scene where Jack gets back into the minivan and it won't start was a happy accident that wasn't supposed to happen. But our pal Brett Ratner thought it was the perfect beat and left it in the film.
Yeah, it's pretty
It
good.
was perfect.
Yeah.
Absolutely perfect. Just having that freak out, and then he gets in the car and it won't start. Eventually he gets it started, and at his office he's met with the same scenario. No one recognizes him, and to his horror, the guy who was busy making a snowman out of potatoes is now listed as the president of the company. Which I find that kind of hard to believe. I don't know. He's so like kind of spineless in every scene that we see him in Jack's actual reality. But I don't know. I guess if Jack wasn't there to push him down, he would have been more assertive and gotten himself
maybe.
up. Maybe.
I think it's to show like the duality of those characters. Like they both have that in them, and they also have this more gentle, family-oriented person to them as well.
Yeah, and I think life is going to be much better for Alan after New Jack shows up.
New Jack this fall on CBS.
New Jack. Hustler. This is Ice-T song from 35 years ago. You guys remember that?
What the hell? No.
That's a deep cut.
New Jack City.
New Jack City. Outside, he walks blindly into the street and is almost run over by Cash, who is driving Jack's Ferrari. Jack jumps in the car, and after freaking out some more, Cash says, "You brought this on yourself," by saying, "I got everything I need." And Jack says,
You mean because you thought I was cocky, I'm now on a permanent acid trip? Bag yourself, Jack.
that just the delivery of that line. Just those two. This film is worth watching just for, are you smacked out of your head? And since I was being cocky, I'm on a permanent acid trip.
Yeah.
Those two line deliveries are worth the price of admission. Quick fact, at one point, Nicolas Cage actually owned the Ferrari that's in this film.
Really?
And he sold it a year before filming began. Which is kind of crazy. He ended up selling it
The exact same car?
Yes, the exact same car. And then
Wow.
they ended up using it on the shoot. Crazy.
Like, this is what it would have been like if you never sold the car, Nick.
Cash says the way Jack intervened in the store was impressive, and Jack says,
Please just tell me what's happening to me in plain English without the mumbo jumbo.
a line delivery only Nick Cage could give. Cash explains that he's given Jack a glimpse of what life would have been like had he bailed on going to London and instead chose love at the airport 13 years prior. He doesn't actually say that. He just says, like, giving you a glimpse of what things could have been like or whatever. And then he has to figure everything out for himself. And he has to figure out something. He doesn't tell him what, but something over the course of however long it takes. Cash then drops the Jack off. I mean, drops off Jack. And gives him a bag with a bike bell in it, which he somewhat explains as a way to signal him or something. But not really. He's very vague. He's very vague, this character. Jack freaks out some more, and then Cash tells him that they should get some air, walk around, and he'll explain everything. But of course, as soon as Jack gets out of the car, Cash peels out, leaving Jack to drive the family minivan back to domestic bliss. On his way home, face off, he runs into Jeremy Piven, a.k.a. Arnie, who obviously knows who he is, and he invites Jack into his man cave. Sorry, that didn't come out right. He shows Jack into his house and eventually into his man cave. Which is it's a wood paneling nightmare with bowling trophies everywhere, like something out of the 70s. There's a lot of wood paneling in this movie.
Yeah.
Which I guess New Jersey suburbs, I guess. I don't know.
Feels very Jersey.
Yeah. Arnie says Kate called and asked if he knew where Jack was, so he was expecting him to just happen upon him in the road, I guess. I don't know. Maybe expected to walk up on him or something.
Well, they're friends.
They're like best
He
friends.
assumed he disappeared on Christmas Day. Maybe he went over to talk to say hi to him or something.
Little midlife crisis, I guess.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Jack says it's a great room. Great room. Before Arnie tries to pull him over to his makeshift bar, causing Jack to very casually almost punch him in the face.
Come on. Come on, Jack. Come on. Come on, buddy.
I love this whole first day of him like accepting this new reality. Cage is so good in this.
Yeah.
Jack spots a picture of he and Arnie bowling on the wall and realizes they're friends, and also figures out that Kate is his wife in this whatever this is. This glimpse. Arnie walks him home, telling Jack he's having a little midlife crisis, and leads him to a 4-bedroom house within a few hours' drive to the cultural center of the universe, which is absolutely garbage to Jack, but a dream no millennial can fathom achieving.
Yeah.
What, 3 stories?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 stories in an unfinished or a half-finished basement.
It's like The Simpsons, when like he's poor, just a
But has
loser.
a giant 2-story house.
This huge house with a giant
2-car garage.
2-car garage. Ugh. And
On a single parent income.
Single income. Arnie tells Jack he's thankful for stopping him from cheating on his wife with a speech therapist the previous summer by saying, "Don't screw up the best thing in your life just because you're a little unsure of who you are." So he's not sure who he is at the moment.
Who am I?
Meanwhile, through all of this, Jack gives Arnie a look like, "Who the fuck are you and what the fuck is going on?" Like an old lady who just spotted a vampire in the bathroom or something. What the fuck is going on? Inside, Jack greets his wife, who is on the phone crying and worried sick about him. She's upset since he just completely bailed on Christmas and has been gone for hours without letting her know where he went, where he was, what he was doing. Nothing. But then she just kind of like sloughs it off after that.
Gets over it.
Yeah, it's just
weird.
like, oh, well, that was a weird thing. Whatever. Yeah, I don't know. Just does her version of Jack do this kind of shit all the time?
I don't know. I wonder that a lot too.
He rationally tries to explain what's actually going on, but she dismisses this absolutely insane thing he's telling her by saying, "Don't start, Jack," as if this all happened before. Like, Don't start with the "I'm not actually your husband" shtick today, okay? Jack then pulls out the bike bell that Cash gave him and rings it, which prompts his daughter to ride into the room on a bike. She takes the bell from him since she assumes it was for her bike that he got her for Christmas. But he says, "That's mine. Hey, I need that back. She took my bell."
It's three-legged dog staring man over there.
The three-legged dog staring at me over there. Kate is pissed that he missed presents and pancakes in the morning, but they don't have time to discuss why he ran out of the house and then tried to convince her he's not actually her husband like a schizophrenic because they have a party to get to.
Domestic bliss.
Yeah. Just wonder how many times just mental illness is completely ignored in the suburbs because we got shit to do.
Yeah. Don't want to embarrass me in front of the neighbors.
I don't know who you are.
Don't
She
start.
took my bell. He says he's not going to the party, but then she convinces him since the alternative is to stay and watch the kids. I would do the same thing.
Yeah.
Upstairs, he gets ready and is absolutely disgusted by his wardrobe choices. And his daughter walks into the room and seems to know that her dad has been replaced by a stranger. She runs downstairs while he sneers at her. And next thing you know, they're at the party. She's kind of like his guide, his mentor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Kate and Jack head inside as if he didn't just abandon his family all day and come home raving like a lunatic. And immediately a smoking hot housewife flirts with him and Jack is oblivious. He heads straight for the alcohol and Red Millers his way through a couple glasses of whiskey. Then he endears himself with what we can assume are Jack's closest friends in this reality by saying the Nets suck. But they're due. Obviously, he's a Knicks fan because he's from New York. Would never follow the New Jersey Nets, who don't even play in New Jersey anymore. I bet that guy, his friend, is really pissed now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's probably dead, but...
Doesn't say triple bypass guy. He's dead.
He looked healthy.
No, it was the guy in the Nets jacket.
Yeah,
wow.
the smoker.
A guy wolfing down chicken wings reminds Jack he's having a triple bypass the next day, and a guy in a Nets jacket offers Jack a cigar, which he turns down until he finds out they're American made, not Cuban.
So they're crappier? And then he wants one?
It's one of my Coppola questions, actually. He remarks the cigar is superb. Then the sexy housewife stuffs appetizers in Jack's mouth as he tries not to hurl.
There's your weird food thing.
Yep, every movie. Jack overhears Kate talking about her job and giggles from a distance before awkwardly interrupting her conversation by saying, "So you're a lawyer, a nonprofit lawyer. You don't get paid anything," from the other side of the house. Then he stares her down and then stares down all of her friends and walks away after finding out she doesn't make any money doing what she's done for her whole career up to this point. Yeah. I'm assuming. No red flags. Totally normal.
The holidays.
Act 2, The Conflict.
Act numero dos.
That first word is te
manoring. Jack. The next morning, Jack wakes up to find himself still stuck in this house of domestic horrors, accompanied by the worst imaginable sound for a man with no children: the sound of a screaming baby. Sorry, Nigel.
Nah, it sucks even if you have children. It's even worse because you have to do something about it. You don't get it to sleep in.
Oh, no. I just want you to keep going.
Yeah.
Your life is terrible, is what I'm saying.
That's just like I relate to
Why
this
couldn't I have
film.
been a banker or a stockbroker? Could have moved to New York.
All right. He angrily makes his way to the bathroom to take a shower, but spots a woman who is way too curvy and tall to be Tea Leoni, naked, doing the stripper dance from True Romance and singing in the shower. Jack suddenly thinks, hey, maybe this ain't so bad after all.
Did you just call her Tea Leoni?
Yeah.
Did I say Tia? Tia?
No, you said Tea Leoni.
Tia Leoni?
Leoni.
Her
Leoni?
name is Tea Leoni.
Let's see. He angrily makes his way back to the
No,
bathroom.
you don't have to say it again. I was just
fine.
It was only funny.
that's her name is not Tia Leon.
Tia. Leoni? Whatever.
She's too tall and curvy to be Tea Leoni.
That's who it was. It wasn't Tea Leoni. It was
That's true.
Tea Leoni.
It was her body double.
Tea Leoni.
Tia Leon.
Tea Leon.
He tells her that baby's crying, and she says it's his turn to. Well, he says that he tells her that baby's crying, and she says it's his turn. Well, talking. Oh my god.
Second paragraph.
He tells her that baby's crying, and she says it's his turn while talking to him butt naked from the shower while he tries to hide his half chub. He has to change the baby's chocolate-filled diaper while his daughter, Annie, guides him through the process before getting actually pissed on by the baby. Like, quick fact, that baby really did piss on Nicolas Cage, and it wasn't planned. He just rolled with it because he's a fucking professional, and he does it live. Look it up in the dictionary, people.
It was funny. Brett Ratner was upset because some people thought that they put it in there because the pee comes from under the frame. But it was actually, that was all one take, and it was the baby actually pissing on Nick Cage.
It makes sense because it did seem like he was genuinely like, oh, okay. Well, this is happening.
All right. I love his that baby's crying. Just that delivery. Like, that's his son.
Right.
Just imagine Nigel saying that to Amber, that baby's crying.
And again, she doesn't think anything weird about it. She's just like, yeah, whatever. It's your turn.
It's your turn. Go murder the baby. I don't care.
And he says, you're not really my dad, are you? And Jack says, no, I'm not. I'm rich, and your life is hot garbage. I can't wait to get the hell away from you. That's not going to fuck her up for life. Holding back tears.
He didn't really say that.
I know.
just
No,
for
he
the
says
people,
much worse later.
Yeah.
I know there are
In case you
lots
haven't
of
seen
people who actually watch this show and don't watch the movies.
Touche. Yeah, he doesn't
I'm
actually say
just going to assume, like, he did? Oh, my God.
Holding back tears, she asks where her real dad is, and Jack says her actual dad loves her and he'll be back soon. So Annie sheepishly pulls up a chair over to him and touches his face for a second before saying the doctors at that super secret FBI medical clinic did a good job taking her dad's face off and putting it on his face. Then he asks her if he's better looking than her actual dad, and she almost cries.
Slightly better looking. Right?
She asks if he likes kids, and he says, on a case-to-case basis. Then I ask if he knows how to make chocolate milk, and he says, I think I could figure it out. And then she makes him promise not to kidnap her and her brother or implant stuff in their brains. And when he agrees, she smiles and says, welcome to Earth.
Welcome to Oof.
Kid actors.
Case
You don't
by
have to be
case
good.
basis is exactly how I feel about children as well.
Yeah, same.
On the whole, not really, but I'll make exceptions every once in a while.
Nigel's kid is on the approved list of kids I can put up with.
He's adorable.
It's the glasses, man.
It's the glasses.
Does it?
Jack drops off Josh, the peeing baby, at daycare while holding the baby like a sack of raw potatoes and asks the daycare lady for a receipt, which is normal. Next, he drops off Annie and asks what to do next, since she's now an NPC guiding him through the training portion of his new life. She tells him there are settlements that need your help. Nah, sorry. What she actually says is he works at Big Ed's tire store, and he is disgusted at the thought of trading in a life of luxury for being a tire salesman. In the next scene, we see him stop by a local gun store to buy a double-barrel shotgun that he plans on putting in his mouth, but unfortunately has to wait a few days for the background check to clear. If only he had Yuri Olov's phone number, he could have ended it all and saved himself from being pissed on again by that awful baby. Is it fucked up that I just called that baby awful? Nigel, I'm going to defer to you on this one, since you're the expert here.
I mean, it's pretty ugly, baby.
I didn't say ugly. I said awful.
Oh, shit. I forget what I said then.
Love his little. So, I'm a tire salesman. I sell tires.
He did such a great job at selling that. Just utter
starts
disgust.
to cry.
Big Ed just so happens to be Kate's father and the chief of FBI. Wait, no, the last part's only a face-off. Wait, maybe that little girl was right. Maybe they really did take her dad's face off and put it on this guy.
Maybe this is like...
They do mention he had a heart attack.
Yeah, they do. That's right. That's why he had to come back.
He had a heart attack. Yeah, he had a heart attack and had to retire from the FBI.
Yeah, opened up a little tire shop in Jersey.
Oh, fuck.
You know, I like that Castor Troy guy. Can we wipe his memory? Give him some sort of implanted memory?
Oh my God. This is going to be Face Off 2. It's going to be a secret sequel to
He's been a
Family
fucking
Man.
tire salesman for 30 years.
Hooks him up with his daughter.
Jack asks the sales guy if he has his own office somewhere, and the guy giggles at him before realizing he's serious. And he then shows him where it is. Jack's office must have been decorated by the same guy who decorated Arnie's man cave, because it's wall-to-wall wood paneling adorned by dozens of bowling trophies. He finds a checkbook and is horrified by how little money he has, and then a bottle of whiskey, and out loud says,
"You must have needed this every day."
And pours himself a little breakfast. Anyways, I think
It's already in his passing out chair.
Yeah. Through some wedding photos, a plaque, and some out loud thinking, he realizes he never went to London. What? He didn't go? Oh my gosh. It took until this exact moment for me to understand that. Fuck.
Glad he says it to the camera.
That would have been so great.
I thought he does say it. He says, "I never went," or something.
Yeah, he did.
He does.
Yeah.
He says it aloud, yeah. But he doesn't fourth wall it.
Oh, it's later on when he finds a ticket.
He sees that he
that's right.
came
Came
back. From
Yeah, he
London.
came back, yeah. Then he says,
Are you sure you're okay? Well, I'm just a little confused right now about why I work here.
to a new sales guy out on the show floor, which is like a super good way to retain employees there, Jack.
Yeah.
Back home, he sees that the merger he was working on happened without him on TV. And Alan, the guy making snowmen out of mashed potatoes or whatever, was the architect behind the deal. Kate runs out of the bathroom and says the kids are asleep, so I guess it's time to make another one. And gets to work pulling Jack's dirty socks and crusty pajama bottoms off for sexy time. He suggests that they get a bottle of wine, but she wants to get busy right away before he passes out. So he says,
Whatever you say, honey.
They make out for a bit, but Jack stops and remarks how beautiful she is and that she's grown into a beautiful woman. She asks him, how can you look at me like you haven't seen me every day for 13 years? She excitedly runs to the bathroom to slip into something a little more comfortable, and Jack's conscience gets the best of him, so he fakes being asleep when she comes back into the room, much to her disappointment. Watching this scene hit a little too close to home, but my guilt is due to the fact that I have sorry, I'm getting a little personal here, guys. My bad. Next, we hear Kate in the other room, accompanied by a whirring sound of some kind, which also hits a little too close to home. Like, this movie is like really triggered for me. It's almost like somebody took my deepest fears and put them into a movie script.
That's what every Christmas sounds like.
Impotence. Thanks to a sign that reads mid-January sales event, we know a few weeks have passed, and we see the family at Bloomingdale's where Kate says they're almost done, but first they need to stop by the toy store, watch store, and linen store, to which Jack asks,
Why don't we go to all the stores? Every single store in this godforsaken shopping mall. Wouldn't that be exciting?
which I felt was justified.
I feel like I've literally said this exact same thing to my wife. Why don't we go to all the stores? Every store in this godforsaken shopping mall.
Don't you miss malls, guys?
Miss Malls? No, not even a little bit.
Yeah, not really.
Kate suggests he take his snarky ass to the men's department while she takes care of the kids, and Jack finds his way to the suits. He picks out a super expensive suit that a tire salesman would never have use for, and when the family finds him, Kate remarks how good he looks in it. When he says he's going to buy the $2,400 suit, Kate asks him if he's out of his mind, and he points to Annie's new shoes, which Kate paid $25 for. She suggests that they go get
shoes.
I love, yeah. She got new shoes. Yeah, they were $25.
Or I should buy a $2,400 suit.
I like.
She got shoes. How come I don't get anything?
Like how the sales associate just like he's like, whew, and pieces the fuck out.
As soon as it got awkward, he's just out.
So good. She suggests that they go get a funnel cake and calls him crazy, which prompts potentially the cagiest moment of the film. Jack complains about the mundane awfulness of his daily routine, such as picking up dog turds, playing with the kids, and selling tires. And Kate says, it's sad to hear that your life is such a disappointment. And he says, I can't believe it isn't a disappointment to you. You, do you think anything we're doing made a difference? Not even say that last part, but he did say a disappointment to you. It goes on to ask how she could do this to him, let him give up on his dreams, and then says,
I'm sorry I was such a saint before, and I'm such a prick now. But maybe I'm just not the same guy that I was when we got married.
He says, forget it. I'll get a funnel cake, and it'll be the highlight of my week.
And not to mention another Brett Ratner style person out there, but it reminded me of at the beginning of American Beauty when he's like masturbating in the shower.
In the shower.
This will be the highlight of my day.
My week. Oh yeah, my day. Oh shit. R.I.P. Kevin Spacey. In the car ride home, he apologizes for being such a prick this time, not sarcastically, and he asks her how they ended up in the position they're in. Kate explains that they've been throwing some curveballs that changed their plans, such as their first baby Annie, and Big Ed having a big coronary, which caused Jack to step in and take over operations at the tire store rather than become a stockbroker. He laments that his life turned to shit from those curveballs, and Kate says she doesn't see it that way, but rather sees it as a great success story. Going back to what we said earlier, she's like so positive, even though he shits on her and their life so much.
That whole family. I feel like that outburst in the store would be like, all right, I'm going to go stay with my parents with the kids for a fucking month, and you need to go to a psychiatrist.
I see it as a great success story 5 minutes after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be the highlight of my week. You're the best thing that ever happened to me.
Next we see Jack attempted the bull, and he's awful at it. Arnie says, Jesus, Jack, what are you doing? This is a league match. And Jack says, shut up, Arnie. You're out of your element. Now mark it 0. When Arnie refuses to do so, Jack pulls a pistol from his bowling bag and says, am I the only one that gives a shit about the rules? Mark it 0, Arnie. All right, that last part didn't happen, but it would have been fucking awesome if it did.
It would have been great if you just hear that off of the other one of the lanes.
Over the line!
Echoing off at the
Here's a quick fact for y'all.
I'll put this back on just for this quick fact.
Yeah, put it on for the quick fact. If you're wondering why this bowling alley feels so familiar, it's because the bowling alley scenes were filmed at Hollywood Star Lanes, known by many after being featured in The Big Lebowski. This was likely one of the last movies to film there, as the bowling alley closed in August 2002 after the city took over the property by eminent domain for a new school. Which is kind of sad, man. Yeah. I'm sure there were a lot of films that shot bowling alley scenes in that.
I'm sure it had tons of business after Big Lebowski.
Yeah, and then I'm sure it picked up after Big Lebowski.
What year was Lebowski? Like 97?
I want to say 97, but I feel like it was later than that. Like,
was it?
2000?
It was 99.
Was it 99?
Was it?
Something like that.
So like right before this movie.
They might have been shooting around the same time, right?
Yeah.
Because
it felt so familiar, and I was like, "Why does this feel so familiar?"
I
and then,
thought that, but then I thought it was just bowling alleys. Bowling alleys look the same.
Yeah,
I didn't realize it was the exact same.
The same one.
Jack the Hammer Campbell tells himself, "You're better than this sport. You shot the rapids in Kenai. You ran with the bulls in Pamplona? Pamplona?
Yes, Pamplona.
Pamplona?
Pamplona.
You ran with the bulls in Pamplona. You jumped out of an airplane over the Mojave Desert, for Christ's sake." Then gets super excited when he knocks over 5 pins and screams,
Yes! Victorious!
As you do. Quick fact. As Jack was bowling, he stated he jumped out of an airplane over the Mojave Desert. Nicolas Cage's character did that in the movie Honeymoon in Vegas. So,
it's definitely a nod to him.
Yeah. I feel like either he improv that or they put that in there just to, like you said.
I think they put it in there just because they were fans. I feel like a lot of Nick Cage lines come from people who just put it in because they were fans of Nick Cage.
Yeah. He cagily laughs at his bowling pals who are less than enthused by his horrible role. Also, the guy who had triple bypass looks pretty good considering it's been like 2 weeks since his surgery. There's some other guy in a sling. Like, what the fuck?
Did that guy's just like perfectly fine.
Oh, yeah.
Did the surgery get canceled?
No, he's just healthy as a horse.
You don't go bowling after a triple bypass.
I mean, bowling is the most physical activity of any sport out there.
Maybe he's just sitting it out. He's watching with the sling guy.
The sling guy.
Could be their team, so he's got to be there. He's
just moral support.
Not playing.
Later, Jack runs into the super hot housewife at the Christmas party who flirts with him again, and he asks if there's something going on between them. And Evelyn says she wants him to show her the hammer, and Jack is stoked. He tells Arnie he's thinking about dropping in to give her the goods, and Arnie tells him there isn't a guy in Jersey who wouldn't give his left nut to be with Jack's wife, so he shouldn't ruin his life by cheating on her, and Arnie storms off disgusted. Probably go jerk it to the thought of banging Kate while Jack watches from the corner of the room dressed in a crocodile outfit. At home, Kate is busy working while eating a slice of cake, and Jack says that he was saving it since he got nauseous from eating mini mall rotisserie chicken. She eats
all the like little mundane suburban things.
Yeah. Plus, like mini mall, like what? Who the fuck buys rotisserie chickens at a mini mall?
It's on the way home from work or something.
Oh, they probably bought it from that awful fucking place, Boston Market. God, that place is gross. I hope they went bankrupt.
Did they go bankrupt?
I hope so. That fucking place tastes like ass. Sorry, I really hate that place.
We get a sponsorship from
Boston Market. Turn that shit down,
Boston Market, man.
Good Boston Market piece of shit.
No, man, it's terrible.
It's Vince's crusade.
Well,
dying on that fucking hill.
Mill Creek, so thank God. Okay,
I was thrown out of a Boston Market. Is what I'm saying.
The truth comes out.
Cut to cell phone footage of him drunkenly getting kicked out of the Boston Market.
I got drunk.
Everything sucks here.
They don't even serve booze. Yeah.
You call this fucking chicken?
You got nothing on the Colonel, bitches.
Rotisserie. Or like rotisserie shit.
It's drier than your mom was last night.
I wipe my ass with better chicken. Okay, anyways.
Found a whole rat in my Cobb salad.
She eats it in his face and he demands she give it to him. Giggity. And when she refuses, he chases her around the house until accidentally killing her, which really changes the tone of the film from here on out. Cash shows up and is horrified at what Jack has done, and instead of taking him back to his old life, he leaves him to his fate in this one. The cops bust in, and Jack pleads with them that this isn't really his life, and it isn't until the final scene of the film, when the noose goes around his neck, that Jack comes out of this schizophrenic-induced nightmare and asks where his beautiful wife and kids have gone. We hear a switch, and Jack falls out of frame to a cracking noise, and the credits roll over an empty frame with only a swaying rope over it. The end.
Turned into a Paul Schrader movie.
No, because it actually had an ending.
Yeah. Would have just gone black.
Dog Eat Dog had an ending.
Yeah. Oh no, what the fuck? God damn Google documents. They're next on my list of companies not to fucking work with.
Yeah, I'll second that. Having actually worked with Google.
Yeah. No, wait. He
Don't
chases
sue
her. Huh?
I said, don't sue me.
Allegedly.
We're recording on a Google interface right now. They're listening to everything we say.
They are.
Don't fucking say anything, man.
My bad. I mean, I love
They own Boston Market.
Oh, fuck. 10 days from now, you guys just find me dead with Boston Market chicken shoved down my fucking throat. And a Pixel 6 sticking out my ass.
It's a drumstick in a place I don't even want to mention.
All right, what actually happens is he chases her around playfully and surprises her by saying, ta-da! And they sexily wrestle over the cake on the stairs before making out with it all over their faces, which might have been a tad bit more sexy if the cake hadn't been chocolate. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of sick, man.
Yeah,
especially after that
gross.
diaper scene.
Yeah, reminded me of the diaper scene.
Yeah, that's
Probably the same frosting.
Yep, that's exactly where my mind went when I saw that. Jack asks if the kids are asleep, and while they're making out, Kate tells him to say it to me. So he says, "You're a bad girl, baby. You make me so hot. We're gonna go home real soon, mommy." Which I guess weren't the magic words, because she probably ends sexy time.
I set you up perfectly to do that. We're gonna go home soon, mommy.
Mommy, we'll go home soon, mommy. We'll go home soon.
Mama.
All he actually says was, "You're a bad girl, baby."
Yeah, he says, "You're a bad girl, baby."
We're gonna go home soon, real soon, mommy.
Oh, no, he does say, "You make me so hot." He says both those lines. Yeah.
He does, yeah.
We're gonna go home real soon, mama. Mama.
Mama.
He pours himself a glass of whiskey and retires to the passing out chair, as is tradition in Nicolas Cage films, where he watches a tape labeled Jack Singing. This turns out to be a birthday party where Jack cringily sings "La la 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 la" means "I love you" in front of the whole party, which, God, that was brutal.
I mean, I guess it was endearing, I guess, because it's like he's obviously out of his element, and he's doing this thing that probably makes him very uncomfortable just to make his wife happy.
Yeah.
And I think that's a moment where he realizes how much I think I step all over your thing.
Maybe it also makes it imply like when he was rich, he paid for opera lessons because he could sing opera just fine. But he's got a lot of money. But when he's in suburbia, he can't sing worth a damn.
La 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 la. I love you.
That scene just went on too long. In my opinion.
Yeah.
We didn't need the second verse. I don't feel like.
In a tear-jerking moment, this makes our version of Jack realize how much tire salesman Jack loves Kate, and probably makes him realize the life he's been seeing as awful is actually pretty amazing. The next morning, we see Jack get on with the drudgery of the new routine of getting a bottle ready for Josh, making coffee, etc., while Kate excitedly gets out of bed and surprises him with an anniversary present. She tells him before he does whatever crazy stunt he has planned, she wants him to open her gift first, and it turns out to be a green version of the suit he wanted at Bloomingdale's. He tears up at the gift, and with her hands open and eyes closed, Kate slowly realizes that he has completely forgotten about their anniversary altogether. Probably since he wasn't actually there when they got married, which is still no excuse. Just ask any woman ever alive.
Why didn't that baby Tell him about it.
Over chocolate milk with Annie, she tells him she should have warned them that her dad always does something really special for their anniversary. Jack tries to figure out what Kate would like since she can't afford the finer things, and her husband's career is a crushing disappointment to her. And he comes up with the idea of taking her to the city to a fancy restaurant. I like how he's just talking shit about her dad. Oh,
husband's career is a crushing disappointment to her. It's the only reason they have a roof over their heads is because of him.
Because of him, yeah. And he's got to make some decent money, you know.
Apparently, I mean, he's like a co-owner on this.
Yeah, like
this
they
place.
brought him in as a co-owner. The company makes $1.7 million the previous
Yeah.
year. Uh-huh. So they're turning a good profit. I would imagine that they take home a good amount, a healthy amount.
I'm guessing he probably makes 60, 75,000, something like that.
And I bet Kate only works for free because they don't need the money.
Yeah, probably.
I thought she said that she did get paid, but the paychecks weren't very big. So I don't think she doesn't make money off the cases, but I'm guessing she gets paid by the organization that she works for.
Yeah, it's like a nonprofit lawyer.
Yeah,
I think they get paid
pro bono.
in donations and stuff.
Food stamps.
No,
I would if I had kids. Fucking pay me in food stamps all day, bro.
Oh yeah, especially in this economy.
Yeah,
this inflation
expensive is to buy
food pricing.
Jesus Christ!
And you don't even have to use stamps anymore. They give you a real credit
they
card.
give you a card.
Yeah,
like this. Oh,
don't show that. Don't show that.
Yeah.
Hold
Someone
on,
will screen
pause.
cap that and rip it off.
this thing.
Jesus.
It's my transit card for.
He orders some pompous French cuisine and stupidly expensive bottle of wine before Kate says it's $800. So Jack orders the house red wine instead. Despite being disgusted by the change, Bobo keeps his mouth shut and heads off to place their order. Some might say drinking house red over the $800 bottle of wine is a slight step down.
Yeah. Lebec, I think is what it was.
Yeah, I think that's what it was, right? He asks her to dance, and everyone smiles at them in the restaurant like they're all trapped in a Christmas family rom-com or something. The moment is ruined when a young woman tosses her drink in Fraser's dad's face before storming off. Over dinner, he tells her he feels like he's living someone else's life and that he was so sure about everything he had in his life as a stockbroker, but now he's not sure what he wants. Kate says, "Do you think there aren't some mornings when I wake up and ask, what the hell am I doing in New Jersey?" As most people in New Jersey are prone to do. But she says she wouldn't trade what she has for anything, since everything she's sure about and loves would be gone if she hadn't married him. Again, just like so positive. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So optimistic.
Yeah.
He says that the only thing he's sure about is that there's nowhere else in the world he'd rather be than with her, and he takes her to a hotel in the city. They pop some champagne, and he again says she's beautiful, and then realizes that after all these years, he's never stopped being in love with her, and off-screen reintroduces her to his little tire salesman.
It's a little Michelin man.
It's a little Michelin man. That hotel room must have been a fortune.
Oh, yeah.
New York City, a hotel like that? I mean,
the Beverly.
That's got to be as much as that suit.
Yeah.
That you wouldn't let him buy.
$2,400.
Act 3. It's about time to wrap this thing up.
We see Jack at home suddenly embracing his life as a family man. Hey, that's the name of the movie. He excitedly gets ready for work before passionately making out with Kate and heading to the office. I mean, the showroom. Turns out he's pretty good at this tire selling stuff, but suddenly his old boss, Peter, coincidentally pops a tire directly in front of the store, giving Jack a chance to work his old magic. I'm guessing Cash wanted to throw him a curveball or something.
That was how I interpreted it.
Weird, yeah.
What the hell is Peter Lassiter doing in New Jersey?
Doing in Jersey at some shitty tire stop brothel.
Well, his tire popped
I guess
right
his tire
out in
popped,
front.
Right.
So
yeah, it wasn't even towed there. He just rolled up with a flat tire.
Yeah. So I'm guessing it was like our old pal tried to test him to see if he would still bail on this life that he has. Now that he actually is embracing it, is like, oh, well, would you take the stockbroker life back if you could?
Jack takes Peter to his private wood-paneled office where he explains that the merger P.K. Lassiter just did would have went smoother if Alan hadn't been the one in charge, and Lassiter is confused, but I guess impressed by a lowly tire salesman from New Jersey giving him advice on a multi-billion-dollar deal. He asks about his car, and Jack says it'll take a few days. And he's like oddly okay with like, okay, it'll take a couple of days.
Special order for that.
Yeah,
tire.
I suppose it's special tire.
Plus, he's got like 7 more.
Yeah, that's true. He could just hire a car, drive him back to his house, and get his own other cars. Anyway, so Peter tells him to deliver it to him personally when it's done. In the city, Jack pulls up in Peter's car while wearing the suit Kate got him for their anniversary. Peter takes him to Alan's office, Jack's old office, which is now filled with baby toys and a dog, which kind of horrifies Jack. Just weird now that he's a family man, but I don't know why he was so horrified by it.
Maybe I feel like it was mostly the dog.
Yeah. The dog's got 3 legs.
Alan asks whether Jack has any Wall Street experience and kind of makes fun of him for being a tire salesman. Jack then does a song and dance while getting himself a glass of water, which rubs Alan, the president of the company, all sorts of wrong, but Peter loves it. Jack says he knows his sales as a tire jockey are nothing compared to what their company does, but business is business and people are people and he knows people. He then reads Alan by saying he has a sort of active energy about him and he wouldn't be surprised if he drank about 16 Diet Cokes a day. Then he says he's probably an excellent father, but he feels guilty about being away from the kids. He drinks bourbon but offers his client scotch and his wife decorated his office. Just some guesses, shots in the dark, Then Jack says Peter loves expensive things, smokes fancy cigars, likes scotch, and likes to stay with what works. He loves horses and this company, and also getting tugs to the local massage parlor. He's a man who prides himself in finding talent in unusual places.
It's Once like again. Playing on cheat mode.
Yeah.
How does he know this stuff? Wow. He can read people like a book.
Jack says he'll do whatever it takes to get the job at the company, including giving tugs of his own, but he just wants a shot. Then Peter tells Alan to show Jack around the office. Alan privately tells Jack to cut the shit and asks him where he got his information. He says Jack's shenanigans won't work on him and that Peter gets tired of his pet projects pretty quickly and no tire salesman from New Jersey is going to take his job. As if that was a threat.
You're going to take my job.
Why would he even I know it's for our benefit because, Jack has done this job, so obviously he knows how to do that job. But at the same time, it's there's no chance that this guy has any shot at taking that job from Alan.
Maybe I think it's to show that Alan's insecure.
Yes,
so deep down, that's kind of always been his problem.
Yeah.
So it's sort of don't come in. I got a good thing going on. He sees this guy as a threat to his job, I guess.
Yeah, he can be a bulldog, but that's not who he is by nature.
Yeah.
He just fucking closed a triple billion-dollar.
Yeah.
I don't think he's got anything to worry about.
Maybe this is how he got to that position in this reality, is he scared everybody else away and acted all tough to keep people from getting
stops everybody in the hallway and bitches at him. Don't take my fucking job.
Take my fucking job.
The secretary, assistant.
My wife decorated this office, and I'm keeping it.
Alan, you're sweating.
Jack laughs in his face and is super impressed with how assertive Alan is in this reality and gives him a nice little hug and says, "Good for you." This, again, doesn't exactly endear him with the president of this company he's just met, but Jack chuckles and leaves. Jack brings Kate into the city and shows her a swanky penthouse that I guess is a perk of this new job, which makes her suspicious since he's been a tire salesman in New Jersey for the last 10 plus years. I mean, who in their right mind would just give a guy who waltzed in off the street a job thousands of people would kill for after spending 5 minutes of getting to know him? Yeah, almost as if it was a fate.
Yeah. I feel like it was just, it was just cash testing him.
She is understandably upset that he just decided to uproot their life without even asking her what she wants. Kate explains the reason they left the city in the first place is because they didn't want to raise kids there. And Jack says New York is the center of the universe, so obviously that's where they should live. He says this was supposed to be a happy day, but he doesn't like her funky tension, so he says they don't need to live there. He can just commute from New Jersey. Again, just a complete 180 from how he actually normally acts, so she doesn't get suspicious. I mean, I guess she does, but
I mean,
he
he
sort of rolls with it.
He's still like,
Ambitious.
He's including her in all of these ideas now, not just kind of like moving on from her. He's he really wants to stay with her and make it work, but he also wants to be able to do the thing he loves doing.
Yeah. It just seems weird, like if they had a 180, like they don't want to raise the kids in New York, presumably he was also agreeing with that.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden he's completely thinking the opposite. So it just seems like she would be like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, true.
But maybe that's part of the glimpse, is everything just sort of works itself out. Just to keep his glimpse going.
Maybe that's why she's overwhelmingly positive all the time.
I think that might be like she's that opposite of how he is, to show what he actually likes about that life and what he wants in her.
The little tire salesman.
He wants to put the little Michelin Man in there.
He says they can have a perfect, great life that other people envy, but she poignantly says that people already envy them. I mean, I sure as hell do. I want their giant house in the suburbs.
Giant house, great friends, great support system.
Good job.
Great kids.
Solid family.
Housewives.
Great housewives trying to bang you all the time. Feeding you food. You just walk into the house and they give you food.
They give you food?
Yeah. Back at home, he looks at the pictures of the life he would have had if he had never left for London, while holding the P.K. Lassiter business card Peter gave him earlier. He thumbs through a Kurt Vonnegut book where he finds a return ticket to London from 1987 and realizes that he went, but he came back for Kate. She walks in the room and says when he got on the plane to London, she was sure it was over, but he showed back up the next day. She says she thinks about the decision he made to choose them over his career and thought they'd grow old in this house in New Jersey, but if what he needs now is to have a fancy career in the city, then she's willing to accept it because she chooses them over everything else and because she loves him. The next morning, Kate wakes up to see Jack playing with Annie in the yard, and we see Annie say, "I knew you'd come back since the dad she grew up with has returned," and Jack gives her a big hug and tells her he loves her. Later that night, in the garage, he hears the bike bell Cash gave him and sees Annie in the driveway. He heads to the store to buy rock salt to de-ice the driveway, and who do you think is behind the till? It's Cash, who tells him he really seems to have figured some stuff out about himself, so that means his glimpse is about to end.
Does that mean that he didn't take the job?
Yeah.
I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, I think that was the choice he wanted him to make, was now you can have that life back or a version of it in this reality. Do you take it or do you, you know, you're not? Take it knowing it might cost you this life that you've got right here. Jack tells him he's not going back. He has kids and pays for the rock salt while Cash looks on happily. Oh, and some bitch stole $9 from him at the store. Guess he's going to chase her down a little later and throw her into some hell reality. That
shoots her in the head.
He's going to traffic. No, dude, he's going to traffic her.
Oh, God. So what happens if you keep stealing? You're going to end up in this life.
This is the life you're going to live.
Wakes up in a shipping container getting sent to Nicaragua.
Fades to black is the opening scene of Taken.
God.
Listen to me. You're going to be taken.
It's Cash on the phone.
Call it what you see.
All I did was take $9. You did this yourself.
Be taken.
You had a chance. Could have given it back.
Could have given it back, buddy.
Now you're about to get raped by several random men.
Movie by Brett Ratner.
Being auctioned.
Also directed by Brett Ratner. The movie he really wanted to make.
It was so sentimental.
He read the script and chased down the producers to force them to make him let him make the movie.
The twist of that is that it was never produced for a studio. It was all just shot in his basement.
Back home, Jack says goodbye to his children before telling Kate, I need you to remember me, Kate, how I am right now at this very moment. I need you to put that image in your heart and keep it there. Keep it with you no matter what happens. Like something you'd say before being exposed as a money launderer or a serial killer or something. Or like you just found out you've got terminal cancer or something.
Yeah.
Which
And
she
she's
freaks
just
out
kinda
about.
like, okay.
Well, she's
I will
like,
do
what
it."
is what happened? Like, what, did you get some news or whatever? Like, she's understandably freaks out. And he says, no, everything's fine.
My idiot brother just got the fucking got Interpol.
Got us in this deal and grew a conscience.
She says so many different movies now that I'm like, which reference was that? Is it Lord of War or was that Trapped in Paradise?
Lord of War. What?
Idiot brothers.
Yeah.
Key.
I'll be back in 2 days. My brother says there's this cool bank that sticks.
It would be so funny if it was fucking Dana Carvey. It's got scallions. He sneaks into the little like village with all the people getting hacked up with machetes. Starts eating their food. What, this mask? This mask?
Just pocketing
This
fucking
grenade?
guns and grenades. Oh, fuck.
It's so weird that his brother's been played by
Jared Leto.
Jared
Dana
Leto
Carvey.
and John Lovitz and Dana Carvey. And
Yeah.
she says that she promises to remember him. I'm guessing with all the bizarre stuff he's done in 6 weeks or so since Christmas, this isn't ringing off any alarm bells for her at this point. Just like, sure, whatever. Let's go to bed.
Just don't run off on Christmas again. Did we actually see Valentine's Day? Because I know that there was Valentine's Day at the tire shop, but did he have a Valentine's Day with Kate? I don't think so.
No.
I don't remember, no.
No.
Or was that the day when she was making out with him when he was on his way to the office?
Maybe. I don't
Might
know.
have been. Anyways.
Anyway, he takes the dog for one last walk. And just as when the glimpse first started, he gets snowed on, and he looks up into the sky and soaks it in. He falls asleep in a passing out chair, watching Kate sleeping, and when he wakes back up, he's back to the bachelor life in the city, and once again, it's Christmas Day. It's actually very moving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's fighting to stay
Very-
awake.
It's pretty heart-wrenching.
Yeah, I feel like this movie did a good job of that. I kind of wish that there would have been a little bit more build up to it because it kind of seems like it's just a switch. And
Yeah.
But maybe that's maybe because it's so jarring, it has more of a effect. Well, maybe they were hoping it had more of an effect on people because it's just so sudden.
I kind of wonder if that's part of the reason for the lower scores is because it just seems like he just kind of, I don't know, we're almost like checking in on him on 3 different days for the 3 acts.
Yeah.
And when we see him in the last day for the 3rd act, it's when he's fully embraced the life of a family man.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess it makes sense.
Yeah.
He finds Paula, the naughty hottie from the beginning of the movie, waiting at his door in a negligee. He gives her the Heisman and speeds to his home in the suburbs, only to find that Robert Downey Jr.'s dad lives there now.
That was jarring. When he opened the door, I was like, oh, fuck.
Is that who that was?
That is, yeah.
Yeah, that's his dad.
Robert Downey Sr. says no one named Kate lives there, and when RDS asks him if he's okay, he says no and heads back to the city depressed. His secretary calls him and asks where the hell he is, since he called an emergency board meeting for noon the day before, and he says he'll be there in 20 minutes. Jack shows up looking, well, like a tire salesman from New Jersey, which is a new look to all the people he works with. So, wait, did he have those clothes in his closet, or why is he wearing those?
I mean, I think
He stopped at a Goodwill and buy some secondhand clothes to fit back in with his old life.
I think he just he had his pajamas on and then he grabbed some random coat.
Yeah, coat.
But why would he own that coat?
I know, that's what I was thinking. Like, it looks like a coat that Jack from Jersey would wear.
Yeah.
I like to see him just shopping for it, on the press, we're going through a Value Village. This one looks like the one I used to wear.
These are $300 pajama bottoms. I got to stop at the Goodwill.
These are silk.
Alan explains that the merger is on the verge of falling apart, and Jack tells Alan somewhere inside of him is a much more assertive person. Seems rude. Just out of nowhere.
Just out of nowhere.
Jack says he'll fly to Aspen and smooth things over with the guy who has been having doubts on the merger and convince him everything will work out perfectly. Then he's going to spend hours skiing. He's going to spend 4 hours skiing alone, completely and utterly alone. Since it's his life, there's nothing he can do to change that. It's also whoa. Is our boss going to go shoot himself? Is merger really going to fall through? And
maybe we'll get next Christmas off.
Yeah.
Sir.
Going to go pull a Sonny Bono up there on the slopes?
That's what I thought he was going to say. Then I'm going to smash into a tree. Sir, we're getting Boston Market for lunch.
Already back share, man.
Oh my God. The fucking turn back time.
Boston Market for lunch. That's it. I'm out of here.
He just fucking jumps out the window. It's like that meme of the dude standing up in the boardroom and just walking out the window.
In a limo, he calls information and looks up Kate, who now lives in the city. Apparently, there aren't 3,000 people named Kate Reynolds living in Manhattan in this reality, because he gets her address in seconds flat and heads straight there. Why do you have to call? He could have,
dude.
Could he have got the number from his secretary because she had it?
No, he threw it away.
He threw it in the garbage, man.
All right.
There's no way she wrote that down somewhere else at all.
That's only plus. When you have the janitor working for you, you know that place is going to get cleaned.
They all connect, man.
He finds a moving company taking everything out of a beautiful brick home and an assistant guiding them to move all sorts of expensive things like paintings, sculptures, etc., who tells Kate that there's some guy here to see her. Kate sees Jack and tells him she's moving to Paris, but wanted to give him a box of his old stuff she's been holding on to for 13 years. And she's like, what did she say? Paris, France? Or in France?
Yeah, he's like,
Paris, France?
France?
Not Texas?
No, Paris, Texas.
I'm surprised she didn't look at him and be like, oh my God, there's a homeless guy here.
What the hell happened to you? Jesus,
you're homeless now?
What, do you work for free or something?
I mean, if they do, which we're kind of left wondering at the end if they do get together, but if they do get together, this is a powerhouse couple, man.
Oh, yeah.
Frickin' stockbroker on Wall Street. Then she's like this high-paid attorney.
Yeah.
He's going to use her to sue that guy for trying to tank the merger. And they're going to make triple.
Thought you were going to say sue the doorman and the old lady because they're smacked out of their head.
That's a better joke.
Track down cash and sue
edit that
in. Ruining his life.
Yard over me doing this.
Jack is devastated to hear that she's moving away and asks this poor woman he hasn't seen in 13 years and who he left at the airport, remember you, if she's married 20 seconds after reconnecting with her. He then tries to grab a cup of coffee with her, but she's too busy packing up to move to the other side of the planet and hands him a box of his old crap.
It reminds me of when somebody texts or DMs a girl like out of the blue, like,
you up?
Hey, pretty, how are you doing? You married? You want to grab a cup of coffee? I don't even know who you are.
You got a cat? What do you feed it?
What's your favorite color?
What's your favorite color? What's the fucking city in Dog Eat Dog he asked her she's ever been to?
Nice.
Nice.
You're really nice.
This guy, this bracelet. She's dumbfounded when he asks, do you ever think about us, Kate? About what might have happened? And again, he left her. So I'm sure she has thought about it quite a few times. But she writes him off by saying if he's ever in Paris, look her up. Like, understandably, give him the cold shoulder. Jack leaves and instructs his driver to take him home rather than to the airport for his flight to Aspen. At home, he goes through the box Kate gave him and finds a yo-yo, some cologne, and the same Kurt Vonnegut book he found on his return flight ticket inside of during his glimpse. This time, he finds some photo booth pics of he and Kate when they were young. He gets teary-eyed for a moment before checking his watch and then screaming down the road in his Ferrari toward the airport, where he dumps the car outside in front of a cop and runs into the airport toward the gate at full speed, Tom Cruise style.
He does.
If this film had been made 1 year later, this would have had a whole different ending.
He would have been blasted.
Yeah. He sees Kate and screams, "You can't go! Don't get on that plane!" across a crowded terminal. Again, this was the next year. Someone was screaming that in an airport. Tackled by U.S. Marshals.
Was so nice before 9/11.
Yeah.
She's shocked to see him and is understandably freaked out by her long-lost college boyfriend screaming at her after only seeing him for about 3 minutes 13 years after they broke up. He tells her to stay and have a cup of coffee with him rather than board the flight in a reversal of the opening scene of the movie. She asks him if he needs closure and lets him know that she was heartbroken, but she got over it and moved on, so he should as well. She tells him she can't deal with his weirdness now and needs to get on her flight while he just stands there with a blank look on his face while everyone else is trying to board the plane, like it's holding up the boarding process on the plane,
pushing by him the whole time. I love that when they're just kind of like, it's so realistic because they're not even looking at him.
Yeah,
they're just kind of like
he's on the goddamn plane.
I like how she cuts back to the front of the line too, and that lady's just like, yeah, okay, fuck me then. I guess I'll just fuck off for a minute.
She was boarding first class. They can do whatever they want.
That's true. Yeah. Do whatever they want.
As she walks away, he begins to give up, but then he says the craziest thing he could possibly say to this basically stranger trying to board a flight to an amazing place where she has an amazing opportunity to live in Paris and begin a really exciting new chapter in her life. He says,
"We have a house in Jersey!"
at the top of his lungs.
That's the moment I would have been like, yeah, I get on.
All right, bye.
Fucking Jersey?
He goes on to say, "We have 2 kids, Annie and Josh," and then describes their non-existent kids while half sobbing like a fucking lunatic, and then tells her about the house they live in, her job, and how in love they are while she just stares at him. While all this is going on, everyone else pushes past them to get on their flight while trying to ignore this absolute insanity. Like they know there's an ending of a movie happening, and they're just like, whatever. Finally, he says, and I guess that's one thing that you don't have anymore is you can't do this. People can't go to the terminal and do it. So you're saved from this kind of crap.
Yeah.
Finally, he says, maybe it was all just a dream, and maybe I imagined it all, but I swear nothing's ever felt more real. If you get on that plane right now, it'll disappear forever. Now, remember, he left her.
Also, wait, is he talking about the plane disappearing? Because 1 year later,
if you get on that plane, it'll disappear forever.
He's being Gizmo.
Anyway, she leaves, and as Jack watches her plane take off, a spooky old lady looks through the glass next to him and says, "I put a curse on that plane."
Yes, I'm so glad the joke is in there.
I put a curse on it.
Things you can't say anymore.
No, she would be in Gitmo too.
Yeah. Actually, he says, "I know we could both go on with our lives and we'd both be fine, but I've seen what we could be like together and I choose us." He begs her not to go to Paris tonight, and I guess all that craziness about their kids and how he sings to her in their dirty house in New Jersey didn't scare her off, because next we see them enjoying a cup of coffee in the airport as the snow falls behind them and the credits roll. The end.
Yeah. So we're kind of left wondering whether or not they'll actually get back together.
Or maybe the snow falling is to signal it.
he's going to wake up in that other life again. You know? And it'll be a happy ending.
Again.
He's like, come on.
Every time it snows now, he swaps back and forth, and he can never tell what reality he's in, and he actually goes insane.
He's like America
Back to
Chavez.
the stockbroker shit. God damn it, I'm a tire salesman again.
Fuck you, Cash!
You son
Cash
of a
just
bitch.
shows up to fuck with him.
For the rest of his life.
Oh, you gonna see your kids again? Maybe, maybe not.
Now you're driving an ambulance. Now you're a janitor in a fun house. Fuck. By the way, you're mute. Son of a bitch. It's just like a fucking like Quantum Leap, but with this.
Every Nick Cage role.
Every Nick Cage movie is just Cash fucking.
Now you're Nick Cage playing Nick Cage.
Oh, your kid's been kidnapped on an island in the San Juans. Better go get her from this creepy cult.
How to get burned? How to get burned?
Okay.
It should be like, they should make that should be like Everything Everywhere All at Once, but combined with massive, unbearable weight of massive talent. But it's just Nick Cage leaping through every role to get back to his life.
We'd have to have like one character who just shows up in every movie to like guide him. Maybe it's the little kid. I should have warned you. They like to burn people alive.
Yeah, every time he dies, he wakes up in a different movie.
Christmas is right around the corner, and if you're a family man like Jack or our newly minted dad Nigel, you're probably scrambling to figure out the best gifts for your kids, friends, family, or co-podcasters. Or maybe you're like me and you like to look out for great deals around the holidays to get yourself something you've been eyeing all year. For instance, check out this Red Miller from Mandy Funko Pop. For only $11.99, that's a steal.
I'm your god now.
Entertainment Earth has so much good stuff on sale for the holidays, it's insane. They've got all sorts of Marvel figures, including our pal Ghost Rider. Cool Star Wars stuff, including amazingly detailed lightsabers and helmets. I mean, the list goes on and on. Save yourself some cash this holiday season and get the ones you love the stuff they really want by heading over to entertainmentearth.com and entering our promo code CAGEPOD to save 10% off all in-stock items.
We have a Coppola questions before we move on.
Pretty much every question that I have is we sort of answered while we were going through, but why is Kate so quick to just move on from Jackson's sanity on Christmas? Is that just Cash is like put all of the best of Kate? Because she has to have her off days, right? She's not perfect all the time.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's just the best version of her.
To keep, because otherwise, if she freaks out on him or something, or calls the cops or something, like his glimpse is not. He's never going to get He's never going to get the message he needs to get. He'll just end up in jail.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Or kicked out of the house,
arrested on domestic violence charges. You really screwed up this time, Jack. Why? This is just me. Why would Jack want an American cigar over a Cuban cigar?
Because he's a red-blooded American.
Yeah, he's a real patriot.
He don't want that.
Is that what
crap.
it is? He's so against smoking the cigar until he hears that it's an American cigar.
I don't know. That was weird.
That was weird. You'd think of the opposite. Like he's a man who enjoys fine cigars, so of course he'd want expensive,
garbage American,
illegal Cuban cigars.
Yeah,
it's American. Oh, superb.
Maybe he was just making fun of him. Like, fucking yokels don't know cigars.
Fucking Nets fan. How was Jack going to get back to New Jersey after dropping off Peter's car? Is he going to take a bus?
He had a driver follow him.
A driver followed him?
Yeah.
Peter's
if you
driver.
watch behind, there's a town car that parks
Really?
right behind him, and the driver gets out.
I totally missed that.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I didn't catch that, but I would have assumed he just got a ride back from Peter's driver or something.
You would think, but at the same time, it's not like it's close. I mean,
right. It's like they say it's a couple hours away, right? Where he
Yeah, I
lives
mean,
to
Peter
this-
asked him to drop his car off. He'd be kind of an asshole if he
yeah.
didn't have a way for him to get home.
He's like,
Well,
fend for
see ya.
yourself now.
Sure, you can take one of those trains back.
Join
or
the
something.
bus.
Yeah.
The buses
Here's a bus
don't go
ticket.
that far. I don't know. I've never been on one.
I've
You see
never
our tram?
even touched one.
I'm sure you can walk. It's good for you.
Yeah, you can walk, right? Jersey's not
Get
that
your
far.
blood flowing.
I can see it from my office.
This driver is Dana Carvey. The wheelman.
You want to stop at this cafe? They got this really good scramble. It's got scallions.
Scrapple.
We stop and get some ring dings? Ring dings and milk? Do you think that Kate is as snobby as Jack was in his previous reality?
Yes.
Yeah,
She
because
kind of seems it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, she's super successful lawyer. She's still single. I think she's supposed to be a mirror version of him in that reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're made for each other, in no matter which reality they're in. So if they were in this reality where they both became career focused, driven individuals, then that's what they would both be.
Yeah.
They sort of allude to that because she's like completely focused on getting packed and getting on the plane and getting out of there, which, I mean, I feel like anybody would in that situation. But at the same time, I think in the movie reality that we were supposed to see that as kind of rude and she was dismissive. But honestly, that felt very realistic to me.
Yeah, and I think it also felt like she did get over him, and so she really was
Yeah.
just trying to give him back his stuff and didn't care about catching up with him or anything like that. Plus, also, he left her, so
Yeah.
she probably even forgave him for it. Or I guess she did, because she has copy with him.
Maybe she...
It seems weird to me that his lunatic rambling about their life together convinces her to stay.
What the fuck, dude? Honestly.
I do think part of her, just like him, still loved her after all the years.
Yeah.
Because why else call and let him know that?
Yeah, she could have
shit
just
that-
dumped his stuff.
Yeah, like why? Like why? I just throw that shit away. You're moving. It's been 13 years. Just throw it away. So part of me thinks that, or part of me thought, she still same thing. Just had these feelings that were deep down and didn't realize it, and then him.
Maybe Cash got to her at some point and sent her into their alternate life together in Jersey, and she had the same journey.
Right. Oh, maybe this is her glimpse.
Yeah, it's all glimpses.
They're all glimpses,
I actually
man.
thought there was going to be a twist where it was like
He's dead
he
the whole
actually
time.
was the Jack from the other universe or reality and got sent into his mind wiped or whatever and sent into this reality to show, and then taken back to show. I don't know. Taken back to. Yeah, but I thought that was going to be a nice, like, you know, this is actually what you want, and you told me you wanted a better life, so I sent you to this life where you lived this whole 13 years in New York.
Fucking horrible, man.
That is one of my questions, though. Like, do you think there's a version of Jack who lived in New Jersey who wished that his life had not been stuck as a family man, and then Cash sent him into New York to show him how shitty that life actually was? And
I mean, that life seemed pretty awesome to me. I don't know.
I'm not gonna lie. Other than the kids,
No,
and the bowling.
In the
New
in the
York
city, the New York life. I mean, he's got a penthouse overlooking the city.
Oh, that life, yeah.
He's making probably $400,000-$500,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
Dude can have anything he wants. Everybody brings him everything. Beautiful women are constantly trying to sleep with him. I don't know.
I wouldn't want it.
I feel like a mix
I'd
of
rather
the
have
two.
his Jersey life.
I feel like the best life is the life we didn't see, where he has Kate and they both make a fortune and they can do whatever they want with their lives. And then they have kids. And it's like,
maybe that's what we're left with. You're like, okay, they'll get the best of both.
Yeah. I guess at least in that life, they both got to live their dreams. Because I don't know. The one thing that I wish they had kind of developed a little bit more is like he wants to go back to that life of being a stockbroker because that's his passion. Like that is what that's what drives him. And it's not a bad thing. Like if you're passionate about something and you can turn that into a career, like good, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of wish they would have developed that a little bit more. So I think you're right. I think the family life is where eventually he wants to be, but I still don't think he would have been happy staying there just selling tires. Like if he could have both worlds, which is what they allude to at the end of the film, like that's the perfect for both of them. You're right. Like that's the perfect life trajectory for them moving forward.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of wish they would have developed that a little bit more because I feel like they made it seem like he was selfish for wanting that job back. But man, that's what drives him. Like that's what you're passionate about. Like go for it instead of making him out to be bad guy for it.
You could do online trades, like maybe Kate inherits a little farm in Massachusetts, and then he could trade in the attic. Day trade in the attic.
Well,
be a
she's
financial
out there farming
advisor.
alpaca.
And then she could farm alpacas,
focusing on her art. Oh my god! What if that's like the Bizarro version?
I would love to see that. Tea Leoni and Nick Cage just switch roles in Color Out of Space. I guess the ultimate question here: do you think they get back together, or do you think that Kate leaves like the next day for Paris?
I think if she was of a mind to do that, she would have just got on the plane.
Yeah,
and not been intrigued by him. So I think we're led to believe that she's still, he's the one that got away, and she wishes that hadn't happened. So
yeah,
it's their second chance.
That's the hopeful interpretation of this film, and I think that's what we were supposed to be left with, was that they do get back together and they live happily ever after. And they
the thing that sucks to me though is like
watch the snow fall on their faces every day they go.
Yeah. The part that sucks to me though is like his kids don't exist and never will exist. Like the kids that he fell in love with.
Maybe that's what their kids. Like Cash was showing him a glimpse of what their actual kids will be in their next reality. Though they are in their 40s. I don't know.
Yeah. They have to get on it real quick.
They do say that he's in his 30s.
30s.
Yeah.
They say
30s. They were just out of college, or were they both still in college? I know she was, but then again, she's going for a law degree, so.
Yeah, she got accepted into college, and that was 1987. So, but real Nick Cage was like 16 in 1981.
Yeah, 87. He was 23, right? 24, something like that.
Yeah. So then 13 years, puts him late 30s, early 40s.
I kind of didn't understand with the whole thing with the lotto ticket, like why that was the setup for Cash to come into Jack's life. It seems really convoluted for what it ended up being, a throwaway thing of like trying to get. I don't know if it was just a setup to test Jack to see if he would try to intervene, and you'd think. From a movie standpoint,
and help those people. I think was what.
Yeah, it just seems, or maybe he just doesn't. Maybe he wasn't targeting Jack specifically. He just goes around and fucks with people until somebody.
That's what he says. You did this that last scene with him,
and he says you did this to yourself. Like I was going to let you go, but you told me you got everything you want, so now you're my bitch for this jaunt I'm going to send you
next
on
8 weeks.
So maybe he was trying to bait the convenience store owners from being racist and try to get them to fall into his trap of being.
He did say
sent
you
to
had
an
your chance
reality.
to that guy, the clerk.
Yeah,
I kind of think the test was to see if anybody would help in this situation.
Yeah, I think it was a dual test. Like, is this guy gonna take this from me at face value? And then if he doesn't, will somebody step in and try to resolve the issue peacefully?
So
and then at that
if
point,
nobody jumped in, would he just shoot everybody to death? And that's how this angel works.
I mean, based on crime statistics in New York, yeah.
Can you imagine the people who are actually wandering around Jack probably left the office at like 11 or 12 on Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Like some very desperate people wandering around the streets of New York City at midnight on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Or just some people trying to get some eggnog.
Yeah.
There's two dichotomies there.
Also, he says eggnog is like $5.
Yeah.
Which seems really expensive even for eggnog in 2000.
Oh,
God, yeah, that's really expensive in 2000.
That's expensive for eggnog today.
That's New York?
Like,
I don't know.
Hey, that's the thing is, that's true. It is New York. They're just marking it up. Yeah,
it's got the best vodka,
and he's in the financial district.
Yeah,
like right across from Wall Street. So
yeah, true.
Maybe I buy that. I guess.
What's the final tally?
It's that time. Nigel, do you want his with the curse tracker?
Yeah, let me find it. This was a PG-13 movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it only had 15 curses in it. We had 2 uses of damn, which I don't remember when they happened. And then it's a Christmas movie, so there's 2 uses of Jesus and Christ. There's 1 use of Jesus, 1 use of Christ. I just combine them because they often get used together. And then 11 uses of God. That was the one he used the most. Just
wow.
God damn it, God, or not God damn it. I tracked that separately. So God. So he just used it a lot as an actual curse. Like, oh my God.
He used Jesus and Jesus Christ as curses?
He used Jesus once and Christ once. And then, so I tracked those separately or together. So it's 2 uses of Jesus / Christ and 11 uses of God.
I always think of, every time I think of Christ on this show, I think of Vampire's Kiss when he sees the cross. Christ!
So, yeah, pretty light. 15 curses. That brings our total up to 576.
Let's do the quick math here. We didn't track, because we're at 30 episodes now, but we didn't track Dark. So let's see what our curse average is over 29 films, 19.8 per film. So about 20 curses per movie that we do. It's not heavy, not too crazy.
Yeah. Some of those heavily weighted when we're in the others.
Yes.
Vampire's Kiss.
Bad Lieutenant.
Bad Lieutenant. Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Yeah, oddly, yeah.
Yeah. Deadfall.
What he did with 2 acts. Outdid almost every other movie. Run time. This was the 3rd longest movie that we've ever done, which is crazy. It just feels odd for a family Christmas movie to be 2 hours and 5 minutes, 125 minutes total for this thing, which puts it just above Bad Lieutenant, which was 122, and National Treasure Face Off. Those ones are, I mean, I kind of hope that we're not going to reach those levels of length ever again. Face Off was 139 minutes, which is crazy, dude. 139 minutes. And then National Treasure was 131, which makes me a little bit worried about Book of Secrets. Like, how long is that one? I don't feel like it's as long, right?
Yeah, I want to say it's shorter. I feel like they trimmed it down.
I mean, that is one of my arguments about National Treasure. Is it did feel about 15 minutes, 20 minutes too long.
Yeah. Like the false.
The
free false
takes
endings.
a little bit too long. Yep.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like Family Man, we could have trimmed about 15 minutes of this thing.
They could have tightened it up a little bit.
There's a few scenes like maybe the first scene with Arnie, I feel like could have been trimmed down.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
I feel like the whole subplot with the hot housewife could have potentially been trimmed out.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of little things, but
maybe that was an homage to Valley Girl and that awful fucking
that B plot.
Yeah.
That's what it really did remind me of, because it's pointless. It doesn't serve any point. Like, okay. Like,
I mean, it sets up the fact that he was willing to cheat on her. And everybody in his life was like, what are you, an idiot? Like, anybody would kill to be with this girl, and you're going to just ruin it? You're going to throw this away?
Yeah, but I felt like they had already touched on that. You didn't need to have this awful B-plot of this woman trying to seduce him.
Yeah, but I don't know. I felt like it was, I mean, it could have been trimmed, but I think it was useful to kind of show his development, to go from kind of the scumbag that he was, where he's like, well, it doesn't apply to me because I'm not even in this reality, you know?
Yeah.
To him actually genuinely loving Kate and not wanting to do something like that to her.
I think it would have been better if they had just like she started to initiate things and then he stopped it, and that's like
that's kind of how it
1 minute
started,
clip.
right? Yeah.
Like no, like her trying to make out with him and it's just then like just trim it down. We didn't need this whole spelling it out bullshit and then talking to Arnie. It's like we get it. We get it as audience.
I think we could have chopped that all out. Some of that bowling could have gone. There's a lot of things that could have been just trimmed down a lot. I do feel like a lot of those add to the character development. They add to the overall film, but at the same time, it's like it's a Christmas family movie.
I watched some of the deleted scenes, actually all of the deleted scenes, and there's even more that they trimmed out that added it. Like he goes, when he's looking for Kate, when he comes back to his reality, he drives to their house, and Arnie is like, you can't park here. He runs into Arnie, and they have this whole conversation where Arnie doesn't recognize him, and then like, it's just like, I can see why they cut it, because it doesn't add anything other than like, Arnie doesn't know who he is either, but you already know nobody's going to know who he is. And then he says this thing, they basically said they went to high school together, and Arnie's like, oh yeah, I think I do remember you. We went to high school together. And then Jack's like, that's right, we did. I feel like we could have been really good friends. And like, you know, it's.
Do you think in his new reality he tries to go by Robert Downey Sr.'s house? And
Yes. Oh yes.
like, tries to reconnect with all the people that he was friends with in that reality?
Yeah, I think so.
I do. I think he tries to build that life because in his eyes, that's the only way that this is going to play out the way he wants it to.
Yeah, and maybe that could have been. That's why they cut that, because that scene kind of really, like Arnie doesn't know him and doesn't like him because he was probably an asshole when he was in high school and didn't.
Probably.
And he's some rich asshole from the city, and Arnie's living in the suburbs or whatever. But I think that scene was set up to show you that he couldn't go to couldn't make friends with him because it seems it's almost antagonistic.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Nudity. I don't feel good about it, but there was one baby penis. I mean, it was the whole freaking frame, dude. I have to include it. I know it's weird, but it's nudity. It still counts, man. So
really weird that
it's PG-13. Well, they did it because the kid peed on Nick, and they were like, "Oh,
we got to use it." But
this is amazing.
But they could have used the other shot of the lower one where you just see the stream come out.
Leave it at that.
We don't actually have to show the pee coming out of the penis.
That shit always fucking weirds me out.
The baby nudity always weirds me out. Of like, why is it okay to just put babies nude on Facebook?
Consent to it.
Don't need
anyways. So that brings us up to 3 total penises. I'm not gonna say where the other penises were, just because we're including a baby in this.
Yeah,
and it just gets all sorts of weird. Okay. Anyways, I have to count it. I'm sorry. All right.
A man of integrity.
State and country tracker. We went to New York and New Jersey, which I'm kind of glad about because I always felt a little weird about New Jersey since he was only in it for like a second in National Treasure. So now we have almost an entire movie in New Jersey. So can officially count it. Budget versus gross. This is a $60 million budget and made 124.7. It brings our grand total up to $847.6 million budget and $1.758 billion gross. So we are a little over double. Just a tad over double. As far as our top grossing, this is actually, I think, the 6th highest grossing film that we've ever done. Which is kind of crazy. Sandwich in between Moonstruck and Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance. Unfortunately, has to live next to Spirit of Vengeance forever. Much better movie. But, it's a different kind of movie. I feel like Ghost Rider was just, it's a shut your brain off, go to the theater in the middle of the summer. Though I think it was it came out in February or something.
I was gonna say, I think they dropped it early, didn't they?
Yeah, they had to secure those rights, man.
We blacked out all the facts, quick facts from that fucking film.
Yeah, I blacked that film out immediately after.
Blackhearted that film out.
Ratings, this was our 8th PG-13 movie. So it's squarely in second place now behind R, which we had 13, and then we had 6 unrated, 2 PGs. Still have not had a G. I think that changes next season because we're going to do our next Christmas episode. Next year, 2023 Christmas episode will be the Christmas Carol movie, which I believe is a G rated, even though it has really creepy, uncanny valley. That leads us over to the Cage Kill Tracker.
This was super easy. 0 kills.
That would have been a different movie.
What did we have, like 82 in the last movie?
Yeah, we had like 80 something in the last one. So 0. We'll go back to a non-kill movie. So we're still at 156 for the total of the films we've done. 0 deaths. So still at 9, and then no resurrection again.
Kinda, sorta.
I mean,
he resurrected his love.
If you've ever taken acid, when you wake up
Yeah.
and it's past, you feel like you've been resurrected. So
Yeah. It's Christmas again. Wow.
So, what did you think? Let's rank this film on the Cageometer.
Leads us to the biggest question of the whole journey here. Vince, where does The Family Man from the year 2000, this was the only film he did in the year 2000, by the way. So we will never get to say the year 2000 again.
Why
on the show. Where does The Family Man rate on your Cageometer?
all right, movie. I'll give it a 7. I thought it was. I remember really enjoying this when I saw it years ago. It's been 10 plus years since I've seen it, and I was glad to see that it still held up. Like we talked about, I think we could have trimmed some of it out. Like you said, about 15, 20 minutes, and tightened it up a little bit. But it wasn't one of the films that we've watched where I was checking the timestamp to see how much longer I had in it. I thought the story overall was pretty good. I wish they had done a little better job at developing his character in the sense of he's seeing this life and realizing that it's the life that he wants. I think we talked about it a little bit. It felt a little rushed, like the ending. I can get that maybe they were trying to go for it being like as jarring for him as it is for the audience, but it fell a little flat, which is probably why some of the reviews were so low. But overall, I think it's a pretty good movie. Definitely a movie that I enjoy watching again, and I'll probably go back and watch it again down the road. Cage, I'll give him a 7 as well. If he hadn't got so cagey at moments, I would have given him an 8 because I thought he did a really good job. And
I love those cagey moments, though.
I do too, but it pulls me out of the movie and pulls me out of the character. So for me, it knocks it down by 1 point. But I thought, I mean, he does such a great job. It's just kind of like that detached, depressed person, like that first day where he's going through and trying to understand everything that's going on. Like he's so good at being detached, and just like he's just you feel like his confusion is genuine. Is the main point I'm trying to make. And then those moments of like pure love for Kate. I felt like he did a great job at really like radiating the fact that he really does still have feelings for this woman, and like he has fallen in love with her again. And I think if he hadn't been able to do that, it would have felt really flat. I mean, if he wasn't able to convey that he was rediscovering the love he had for this woman, this movie would have just fucking sucked. It would have been awful. It'd just been a dude running around being crazy for 125 minutes. So I thought he did a really good job there, and I really liked his interactions with Annie. I thought that was very heartwarming too, especially as he does start to appreciate and love her more. Like it felt really genuine. And then what really solidified a good, like a positive score is just, we talked about it a little bit, is as he's wrapping up the final day in that life, that scene of him sitting in the chair, like trying to stay awake, knowing that falling asleep means that this life is going to be pulled away from him. I felt that was a very emotional impact. Like I felt like they did such a great job at acting it, framing it, and getting that point across to when he does wake up the next morning, you do feel bad. Like, oh fuck, well, now he's back in this other life that he doesn't want anymore.
That he once loved. And
that he once loved, and now he doesn't want it anymore. He wants to go back to that other life because of how more fulfilling it was on a personal level to him.
Yeah.
So yeah, 7 for both. Really glad this movie holds up, because I would have been disappointed if I didn't enjoy it, because I loved it when I first saw it. I thought it was really good. Yeah, very different than The Weatherman, which I thought was good.
I mean, this was the first movie in the Man trilogy, you know. So the stories, you know, I feel like, okay, so I love imagining them as all connected. The Weatherman, you know, obviously we've seen that the man has taken a change.
Yeah.
And he's dropped the stockbroker thing, and he's gone to just being a weatherman now. But then the Wicker Man just takes a real 180, the whole feel of this Man trilogy. It's just confusing. It's confusing. It's a confusing narrative throughout the 3 Man movies, but I feel like out of the 3, this one's probably the most heartwarming.
Yeah. This one delivers on what it was trying to do. I think out of the 3, the best.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, it's the Dark Knight of the trilogy. Of the Man trilogy.
Nigel, where does The Family Man rate on your Cageometer?
This movie was a very pleasant surprise for me. Prior to doing the show, I don't think I'd even heard of it. Like, I certainly don't. I'd never seen it. I don't remember hearing about it. And I know I wasn't the target audience when it came out. Like 2000, I was 14, I think, or something like that. So
I feel like it's been largely forgotten for whatever reason.
Yeah,
maybe it's just
it's not one of those ones that comes up. It could be, but it also could be like it's, I don't know, it's a Christmas family movie. It's not something Nicolas Cage is normally known for, and it's not like over the top. But anyway,
it did really get great reviews.
Yeah, I'm surprised at that. Like, I'm honestly surprised that it reviewed so low, because I gave it an 8 out of 10. Like, it was one of the, I wasn't enjoying it as much in the opening, because it felt like, this guy's I was going to watch this guy be a jerk for the rest of this movie, where, you know, obviously no, but it felt like it's fish out of water, but also like he's just a total asshole, but he's not, because we see that he's a good guy in the start when he's trying to buy a lotto ticket, and he's been put in an impossible situation, so he's completely thrown off guard and stuff. But part of that, I think, is Cage's performance sells it really well. But yeah, it was surprisingly heartfelt, heartwarming movie with a good message. I liked that it doesn't have the typical "It's a Wonderful Life" happy ending. Doesn't end up back with in that life through magic or mumbo jumbo or whatever he says, which I was expecting. Like, he's gonna fall asleep, but he's gonna wake up, and it's still gonna be that life. Like, he doesn't get to go back to his thing. But it had a more realistic message, I guess, of like, that's a glimpse. You don't actually get that life. That's what you lost through your choices in life. But it's not the end of the story. You could have something similar to that,
still
because
build
now
an amazing life with this person that you
know what's
love.
important to you.
Yeah.
So I liked that message a lot. It wasn't expected. I also didn't know what to expect with this movie. I didn't read the synopsis of it before I started watching it, so I didn't know that this is what it was going to turn into. So maybe that's why I was more happy with it than audiences when it came out. Maybe they were sold a different type of movie through ads, or who knows. I don't know what the marketing was like at the time.
Yeah.
And also, I think as a father, it affected me differently than it would have. Like, if I'd watched this movie 2 years ago, I probably wouldn't have liked it as much. But it felt very genuine with those family moments that he has, and those interactions he has with Kate and like Vince said, their acting really sells it. Like, you get their relationship. You get that they actually care about each other. It feels that way. So
it's heart wrenching when all that's taken away, just as it is for the character. And I think that movie does a really good job of building that up to that point where when that's taken away, you really feel that emptiness that Jack is feeling, which you wouldn't expect from how he acts in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
So
completely reframes and repaints that life that he loved at the beginning.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because I think you can start the movie and think like, this guy's got a pretty awesome life. Like he's good at his job. Everybody likes him. He's happy he's happy in it. He's successful. It's something he loves doing. He jazzed up about it. And then you see that context taken and put in a different light and see that he could have been happy in another life as well. And was happier in that life and he didn't realize it. So I think it does a good job of telling that story. Like you said, it does what it set out to do a lot better than I think some of the other movies in the Man trilogy do.
I love imagining the three of these movies together as one story.
Yeah. Like you said, it's just Cash giving him glimpses of different lives he could have had. So... And for Cage himself, I give him a 9 out of 10 on this one. This is one of his better performances. I really felt almost every facet of the character through this journey that he went on. I felt like in the beginning he's not really an asshole, but he is that driven businessman who sacrificed something to get to where he is, and when that's taken away from him, he's understandably upset and confused and thrown off guard, and you see all that in his performance as well. He sells it really well, and then he slowly adjusts to this life that he could have had, and you see that he gets won over by it and really appreciates it, and you feel his loss when he loses it, and then that triumph at the end when he's got that glimpse of being able to get it back and he goes for it. You feel that all of that through that performance of it. I think he does a really good job in this of selling it. Yeah. And I'll harp on it again. His not harp on it, but I'll bang that drum again, beat that drum. That his physical performance is really good too. You can see it in his body language through all parts of this movie. You can see what he's thinking and what he's feeling through how he carries himself and his physical energy in different parts of it. I think it's an underrated performance. Again, it's one that slipped under a lot of people's radar, but this is a really great effort by him for a movie that I don't think a lot of people really know, or at least certainly I didn't, who talk about stuff. So this is to me a hidden gem on both fronts, both the film and his performance of it.
I think that's one of the. I know we've talked about it before, but I think that's one of the best things about this show is like we keep finding these little hidden gems that people may or may not have even heard of or taken the time to watch. And there are so many Cage performances like this, and I feel like that's one of the driving forces for this show is like kind of giving a little bit more light to those, because I had seen a lot of these movies younger, and I remember them being amazing, and then for some reason in like, I don't know, 2008, 9, somewhere in there, everybody started making Nick Cage a joke. It was like, did you see Red Rock West? Did you see Vampire's Kiss? I mean,
even now, Vampire's Kiss still gets some flack because I just don't think people. We talked about it, but I don't think people really understand what that film is, and I'm guilty of that too. I did not understand that film when I was younger. Having rewatched it for the show, I have a whole new appreciation for that film and his performance in it. I mean, I wish people would go back and give it a shot, and I think they would be surprised at how ahead of the time that film was.
I fucking love that movie, man. It's a masterpiece.
It's great.
And it really
it's one of the two of the movies that I bought since we started doing the show after watching it, which was that and Mandy.
And that's another thing too. Like these hidden gems, like Mandy. I heard about it one time prior to the show, and I never watched it because it's just like one of those things. Like I just assumed it was in the category of bad films that he did during that time, and I'm mad that I didn't see it sooner because it is one of the best films I've ever fucking watched and one of the best performances he's done. And
Mandy is a masterpiece.
and I'm worried that Pig if we weren't doing the show, I'm worried that Pig might have fallen into that same category. Pig is by
that's
far one of my
100%,
favorite movies of all time.
I think Pig would have fallen out. I don't even think maybe even I would have watched it. Though I did see the Rotten Tomatoes scores, but that was, I've been paying attention to Nick Cage,
we were paying attention.
Obviously.
We were hyper focused on him at that time, which I don't think I would have been if we hadn't been doing the show, and I would have missed out on an incredible film.
Yeah. So this is another one of those. I think this movie affected me in a way that I don't think it would have affected me when I saw it first 20 years ago or 22 years ago. Oh my God, life goes way too fast, man.
Yep.
So as a 18-year-old, when I saw the movie the first time, I definitely have a sentimental feeling towards it. But I don't think I had it quite as much as I do as a 40-year-old man who's been married for a decade and been with my wife for almost 20 years. So for me, I think it affected me in a different way. And I think it probably affects Nigel in a completely different way. With having a child. So I gave it an 8. My complaints are that it's a little long. I do feel like it's a little long. I feel like there's a lot pushed into it, but at the same time, I can't really hate on what's in the movie. I feel like everything that was presented to us was presented really well. And we're living in an era of movies that are, 3 hours long. So, I can't really be upset with it being 2 hours and 5 minutes, but at the same time, it feels long for what it is.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason why I'd bump it down just a little bit. And I also feel like the transition between the stockbroker to the family man was a little rushed. I feel like it was kind of sudden. It was when he goes to the restaurant with her on her anniversary. And also, there are things that set that up. When he gets teared up when he sees that she bought him the suit, and she's like, he finally realizes, oh, we don't have this kind of money, and you still did this amazing thing for me. I think it makes him realize something that he had never realized up to that point, because he had money his whole, post-college life, and possibly even pre-college. He hadn't really realized what life is actually like for most normal human beings who aren't working on Wall Street. So there is that sentimental arc, but at the same time, I do feel like it's just kind of rushed. I feel like they could have sprinkled in a few things to kind of I don't know, give him a few little moments with Annie, a couple little moments with Kate that cemented that home just a touch more. I don't understand the 5.5. It feels harsh, and maybe it was a cynical audience in the year 2000 that was oh, well, here's another Christmas movie and Nick Cage trying to be a family man. I don't know what it was. I don't really understand why it got such a low score, because it is a genuinely great movie.
Maybe people thought it was ripping on Wonderful Life too much and stuff, but I think it could be. It changes the formula enough that it's a twist on A Wonderful Life or A Christmas Story, or not Christmas, A Christmas Carol. That I appreciate that aspect of it. It's not the same story you've seen told a bunch of times, really.
Yeah,
they put a spin on it.
I will say that I found it kind of unbelievable. The reason that Kate decides to have the cup of coffee with him. I know that we're supposed to be oh, well, she held him in her heart from that version of Kate.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's we have a house in Jersey. We have children. What the fuck are you talking about?
It makes me wonder if maybe that is the life that she imagined they would have had they stayed together. And maybe that's why she's so caught off guard by him saying these things.
Maybe that glimpse is her vision of the life, and that's where Cash got it from and showed it to.
That's a good point, because she's very adamant about the life that they would live in that house.
That does make it feel different if you think of it in that term.
Yeah.
So I guess if you take that,
because you're right, there is that scene where she talks about like, I thought this was the house that we'd grow old in,
that
and
we would grow
you know,
old
all
in.
this stuff.
Our grandchildren would come visit.
She
us.
had this vision of what.
Well, you turned into a robot for a minute.
It's back. Yeah. So maybe you're right. Maybe Cash took her vision that she had for their life and gave it to him as a glimpse. And so that she's like, oh fuck.
I like that idea.
He knows this. Like I like that.
Wow, he knows exactly what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
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 And it shows him that he wants those things too. Like that.
Yeah.
They're compatible because they both want that.
Yeah.
Or wish they had that.
I like that.
But first they have to snuff
as far as Cage, they gotta go kill Robert Downey Sr., which won't be hard. Put a bottle of alcohol in front of him.
Jesus. God. Fuck, cut that.
I'm just saying, Robert Downey Jr. has problems for a reason.
Yeah.
And it all started from childhood. Just read up on Robert Downey Sr. for a minute. Anyways, we're not harping on Robert Downey Sr. We're harping on Brett Ratner. Okay, that's what this episode is about. As far as Cage, I gave him an 8 as well. Like I felt his performance in this movie. Like Nigel said, like you really feel he loves that life. And then he sees this other life and he hates it. And then you see him slowly fall in love with this life. And then when he gets back to that life that he used to love, you can tell he absolutely is shattered to go back to that reality of like he just feels emptiness when he gets back to it.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, his whole life had been about living this life he thought he wanted. And then once he sees what life could have been, it just opens his eyes, and suddenly everything just feels pointless without that love that he had, you know. And I think anybody who's kind of experienced that sort of love feels the same way. Like, I don't give a shit if we're poor as long as I have that love in my life, you know. And I think that it's very sentimental, but it's very poignant and it's very true. And I think, I felt that in this movie.
Yeah.
And
that's a good point.
Yeah, it fits perfectly with the Christmas theme, kind of love and family on Christmas, and I guess that's where I'll leave my review. I don't really know what else to say about Cage, but great performance, great movie, 8 out of 10. Yeah.
Here it is, the moment you've all been waiting for. These are the cagiest moments of the film.
Let's get you some help. Surely there's a shelter somewhere in this city.
A shelter? Hey, are you smacked out of your head? I'm the richest man in this building. I've got twice the square footage you have, and I'm going upstairs. Take a walk, pal. Oh, not cool. Not cool!
This kind of thing makes a lot of guys have to throw up. I've seen it happen before, okay? So if you feel the urge, you roll down the window and do it out there. I got everything I need. That sound familiar?
You mean because you thought I was cocky? I'm now on a permanent acid trip!
Bag yourself, Jack.
All right, look, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I was such a saint before, and I'm such a prick now. But maybe I'm just not the same guy that I was when we got married.
Jesus. We'll take the money out of the kids' college fund.
Forget it. We'll get a funnel cake. It'll be the highlight of my week. Yes! Victorious! Ta-da! I want that cake!
That's it for this episode of One Cage at a Time. As always, be sure to drop us an email at onecagepodcast@gmail.com to let us know if we missed anything, or hit us up with suggestions to improve the show, comments, compliments, or simply to gush about the legend that is Saint Nicolas Cage. Next up, we have a real treat for you, a special Christmas gift, if you will. We'll be talking about Nicolas Cage's acting debut from 1981 at the tender age of 16, The Best of Times, which is a television pilot. So it's kind of going off a little bit of what we normally do on the show. We're going to be doing this little TV show rather than a full movie. Every other thing we'll ever do on this show, I think, is going to be a full movie. Unless he ends up doing that, whatever the hell that dragon detective show is, whatever that show is.
Well, it's getting produced, so we'll see. Change our format a bit.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to do an episode for each episode or something.
Weekly episode. Yeah, kill us.
Anyways, The Best of Times is a television pilot or a variety show type of thing that they were trying to do about life as a teenager, and it also marks the acting debut of George McFly himself, Crispin Glover, before he went off the rails, started trying to kick David Letterman in the face and stuff. I've been wanting to talk about this thing for years. I've never actually watched the whole thing, but I've seen all of, for the most part, I've seen most of Nick Cage's performance in it, and it is exactly what you would want it to be. A 16-year-old Nick Cage doing weird shit.
Awesome.
Anyway, make sure to check it out on YouTube, which I think is the only place you can watch it. It's free on YouTube. So go check it out. Do yourself a treat. Until then, we'll say goodbye the way we do each and every episode with our Nicolas Cage quote of the film.
Like it's 10:30. By 11 o'clock, you're gonna be snoring like a monster, but that's very sweet. I'll remember that for next time.
Whatever you say. Honey.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to One Cage at a Time. Visit us online at onecageatatime.com or follow us on the social media platform of your choice for more Nicolas Cage goodness. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if you really like the show, become a member of our Patreon, where you can download unedited and ad-free episodes, as well as listen to our follow-up show, Back Into the Cage, where we re-examine each movie to discuss what we missed the first time around, answer listener questions, and wax poetic about the man, the myth, the legend that is Nicolas Cage.
Hey, what's that? I like it. Thanks, Dad.
That's mine. Hey, I need that back. She took my bell.